Loud Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Aloha. Aloha, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 909 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. And I do have the closest of my my people right to my left, everybody. Mike, how are you today, sir?
I am fan-freaking-tastic, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you know, I'm catching some early messages on the board here, and I think they're talking about some some issues that are going on between some former Steelers. We'll get into that so much today and so much more. But I did want to say this. You know what happens in Pittsburgh when we don't have football and we can't watch other people get angry and push each other around? We start getting angry and pushing each other around here in the Berg. That's just what we do. It's always football season in Pittsburgh, baby. Welcome back to the show. That's right, again, episode 909 of the Two Dum Yinzers. And I came to the conclusion yesterday. I really did. I was doing something. I was talking about something, and I said, "My God, I wish Mike was here. I really need Mike." And I realized, and I realized many years ago, the importance of both of us to the show. And I humbled myself. I crawled back to Mike on my hands and knees. I did. I have the rug burn to prove it. And I apologized. And I said, Mike, you are the Batman to my Robin. You are my Beavis to my Butthead. And I realized that I cannot do this by myself. And Mike is back. And I do want to say this, Mike. Unfortunately, we don't have enough hours in the day, but I thought that it would be cool if we had somebody that could go back through all of our shows and pull out all the best fights to make a best fight compilation, if you will.
Yes.
Man, could you imagine? I wouldn't even listen to it. I would feel so uncomfortable.
It would be cringe. I wouldn't watch it. I would promote it. I would tell people go watch us.
Yes, but I couldn't watch it myself.
Oh yeah, watch us be total assholes to each other for no fucking reason,
Yeah.
and just because neither of us wants to be wrong or neither of us wants to let the other person speak, and
Right.
because we know how to push each other's buttons, and it's sometimes we don't think we're doing it, and then you're like, oh shit, I did it.
Yeah.
And you're like, it'll blow over.
Well, I just want to say this. I just want to make a public declaration on the show today. Mike is a million times part of this show. And without that million, that takes a million parts away, and I'm stuck with the other half. And it's just not the same, Mike. Mike, you are a very, very, very wonderful piece, and I couldn't do it without you, man. I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have the partner that I have for this show. We wouldn't have made it almost 1,000 shows if we weren't. So
same here. Yeah, if I didn't like you, my God, the first time we fought on air or fought on video, it would have been the last fucking time.
Yeah, absolutely. But we we both sat down and we realized that we got big things coming. There's big fish to fry. And
you argue more and with more fire and intensity with those that you like and respect than if somebody you don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But
so there you go.
When Ryan was curling on his hands and knees, he woke up from his dream and then said, "Bro." I was like, "Bro." I was like, "Okay, let's let's go point and laugh at Derpy." And that was it.
That was it.
We realized it could be worse. It could be doing the show with Derpy and Derpy.
Absolutely. And that's what it instantly hit me. And that's when it instantly hit me. And I said, you know what? I have to apologize. So everybody, welcome back to the show. There you go. We're back. We got just a couple days left until this winter vacation comes up. We are going to be taking next week off to reload, regroup, and come back with a whole bunch of new stuff after that break, guys. We have a lot of things coming down the pike, putting together some pretty cool things. I think you guys are going to love it. So a lot of things to get into this week, though. We got a lot to do. We got so much stuff going on this morning in Steeler Nation regarding Joey Porter, regarding Ben Roethlisberger, James Harrison, all of that stuff. Also, I want to get into some free agents today, who we'd like to keep around, who we don't think should stick around. So much to get into today, Mike. Let's get to the board, though. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you may be. Welcome to the show. Always great to see everybody. Welcome back. Let me start way down here. Tortilla says this, Yinzer Civil War today. Yinzer Civil War. It's certainly, as I said, in Pittsburgh, when we can't watch people push each other around and get angry, we just do it ourselves. And yes, there's plenty of fireworks going on the internet this morning. We're going to get into that so much more today. RB says, two retired guys. Who gives a shit? Tortilla Jackson says this. He says, we need to write the direct declaration of Yinzer pendants, my man. Tortilla and RB, welcome to the show. Glad to see both these guys. Tortilla follows that up with saying, I care because someone did need to stand up and tell Deebol is not that guy anymore. Tortilla follows it up by saying, no way. And Mr. Vanilla, RB says, yeah, we kissed and made up. Tortilla says, Ryan's a lucky. I am a lucky guy.
There is video of us kissing and makeup, but you do have to pay for it.
That's on the pay site, unfortunately.
On the pay site.
RV says, glad to see it. I have friends like that. I beat the piss out of a friend during the Steeler Broncos AFC title game, and then we went out for dinner, and that's been beers after that. You know, that's the true trait of guys. I don't know. It's just it was how it was in my neighborhood growing up, and that's just kind of how it always been. You bust balls, and then you get back to life, whatever. Yinzer Joe says this, the show must go on. Hello, Yinzer. The show must go on. That's right. Again, episode 909 today, heading screaming toward the big 1,000 this summer and year 5 of the two Dum Yinzers. There's a lot of big things going down this year. Tortilla says Vanilla Thunder will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Tortilla, that was supposed to be a well-guarded secret. I was going to make an appearance halfway through the movie, but sometimes you got to let the cat out of the bag.
Tortilla says, yeah, I accidentally started watching an old argument back up by watching those clips. Yeah, man, who knows what you're going to run into. I promote them, but at the end of the day, I think to myself, hey.
And we keep it all out there, too.
Yes, it's all out there.
We've
taken nothing off that we've ever did. There's almost 1,000 shows of nothing being taken away.
Probably should have, and probably should at this point, but fuck it.
Fuck it. Just Learning. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Just Learning on the terrible board. He says, hello, guys. Great to see you, my man. Great to see Just Learning as always. Welcome back. And Yinzer Joe says, yeah, I remember bringing up a past argument with my girl. Started that back up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots to get into
we've
today.
All been there.
I do want to say this, guys, just before we get started. I'm not going to talk about it forever, but I'm just kidding. Bad Bunny. I'm just the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates, guys. Mike, pitchers and catchers yesterday. Pitchers and catchers showed
Yes.
up in Bradenton, Florida yesterday to start training, spring training, if you will. Mike, this is the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now that they went out and actually got some bodies and some bats, the Pittsburgh Pirates, get this, they have a 24% chance to win their division. They have 19% chance to win to get the wild card spot, 43% chance to make the playoffs, and a 2% chance to win the World Series, which sounds silly to some, but 2% is a huge jump for the Pittsburgh Pirates, guys. Again, going out and grabbing 3 bats to go along with a pretty good pitching staff, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller and company. And Mike, they're still talking about going out and getting more bats. So hopefully these numbers could rise. And again, I always say this, if they're not doing anything, stop going. Show them that you're not happy with the product.
Yeah.
People did that. You know what? They were proactive. And finally, the owners went out and grabbed some real bats, Mike. And again, their payroll is over $100 million for the first time in Pirates history. The Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike, it's going to be fun this year with the Pirates. And again, the Penguins are looking good as well. So a little something to get us between Steelers season, on top of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Passion, Mike, might be some playoff wins this year.
Yeah, it would be nice. And like with the Buccos, not only are they're spending money, they're spending it wisely. They're not like really getting washed up players. Yeah, Osuna's 35 years old, but he had another really good productive season last year. And that's an encouraging sign. And like some of the other signings were guys who are not past their prime. They're not like in their prime, but they're still serviceable major leaguers that make sense to put into the lineup. And like you and I were talking the other day, guys are now going to start falling into the appropriate spot in the lineup.
Yes.
You can protect an O'Neal Cruz. You can kind of protect or maximize Brian Reynolds, Big Stacks. You can maximize his value in the batting order. He's not going to have to be hitting in like a prime spot with no one behind him. So what they were doing is they're building a smart move or smart roster. And we see like with some of the value moves that Ben Sherrington did, give him some money, he might be able to go do something. Am I expecting the world? No, but I like what he did. And like you said, man, that pitching staff that they have from Paul Skeens on down, you probably have 6 or 7 starters in this lineup.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as I said, Mike, I encourage people to stop going and stop spending their money. But now, as I said, they are working, they are trying.
Yes.
So do get out and support them. I think it's going to be a good season. Certainly a lot better. I seen the thing when I was reading these percentages, Mike, they did have them penciled in as the probable second place team when it's all said and done. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's a huge improvement from last year. That would be a huge improvement from last year to this year. Last year is like we were hoping they would get around 500. Now, like, okay, let's get contend for a division title, and that's like all we ask from our teams here. Well, yeah, we want championship out of the teams. The bare minimum, spend the money to be competitive. Say what you will about the Penguins and Steelers' recent success. At least they are doing what they think they can do to build a team and not bullshit you into like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. Like, no, like, hey, this is what we think we have, and they like, here's the thought process that we're gonna go out there and do it. Whereas the Pirates are like blowing smoke up your ass about everything, and the media doing, the heavy lifting for the organization. Now they're actually putting the money into the team, putting the money into players, and there are actually good players that they're getting. And it's encouraging as a fan because, my God, I haven't been excited about a baseball season in like 30 years. To be honest,
that's my problem. When they're good, I get really crazy. I get really pirate crazy.
Yeah, we got Bucko fever a couple times the past 2 years because they had a nice little stretch. But this, like, it would be nice if it's actual good baseball for the Pirates. They don't have to win anything for me, but be competitive and show that you're making strides to actually build around a generational talent in Paul Skeens.
And I remember a couple of years ago when they got rid of Aroldis Chapman because they said he was starting to age. Mike, they literally had him marked down as the number 2 closer right now. Right now, this is after we got rid of him for being too old. So let's hope that we can continue on this path, Mike. Again, no Pittsburgh, none of the big three has won a playoff game since 2017. The Pirates, the Penguins, or the Steelers. Hopefully that changes this year. Of course, we've been relying heavily on our Pittsburgh passion. Of course, the gals that play football here in the Riverhounds, the soccer team, like they both won, was in a championship, and the other one won a championship. Now the other three needs to get moving in the right direction. We want to see some playoff victories. We want to see some success in the postseason. That's what we want. That's what everybody wants. Mike, I do want to say this while we are talking about just a variety of sports real quick. It was 25 years ago today that Three Rivers Stadium was imploded. Today, 25 years ago, they took Three Rivers Stadium down. I still have them 10,000-pound seats in my storage, Mike. You know, the Three Rivers Stadium seats, they're two of them together. They're hooked together by the apparatus that holds them together. And 25 years later, I'm still holding on to that damn thing. And and every time if I move, I have to take that with me. And it's big, bulky, heavy. But nonetheless, like 25 years ago today, Three Rivers Stadium was no more.
And those chairs that are bolted together, that's what we have to sit into every time we fight.
That's right.
We're forced to sit next to each other and share our fifis.
That's exactly.
You know, it's uncomfortable on so many levels.
We crack open the Duquesne Pilsner. We sit in those chairs right next to one another, and we jock for arm space because it's very tight.
Really, that's what it is. Yeah.
Also,
friends sitting in those little seats. Jesus Christ.
72 days, Mike. 72 days from the draft. So much stuff going on in this off season. We have so much stuff to talk about today. We have quarterbacks, we have free agents, but I think the big story today, anywhere, if you are a Pittsburgh Steeler fan or even fans beyond that that reach, the big story is what happened on these podcasts. There's a lot of podcasts here with the Steelers, former Steelers, of course, Cam Hayward. He has a podcast. Deebol and Joe Hayden have a podcast. Ben Roethlisberger has a podcast. Everybody has a podcast. And this morning, it popped off. Mike, why don't you give us a little bit of a fill-in? Give us a summary of what the hell's going on with Joey Porter calling out maybe his former Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah. He was on, Cam's podcast, and he was one of the guests on there, and they were talking about stuff that, the reporter, she was like, stuff that you hear in the locker room, you only report about 2% of it, protecting sources and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And then Porter kind of, he was like, Then they got on the topic of Tomlin retiring, and then people making comments about Mike Tomlin. And Porter was like, you got these, you got Ben and Deebol saying stuff like this. And he's like, I talked to Deebol off air about, hey, I don't appreciate what you said and your narrative, and Mike's not going to ever say anything back to you, so why are you taking shots like this? And he's like, and then Ben, he was like, and we know Ben was foul. He's the foulest of the foul, referring to off-field issues. Then he was telling stories about locker room stuff, how at that time, if a player had family coming in, like, hey man, can you get this signed for me? You take it to whatever player and they sign it. And he was trying to big time Chris Hoke and Aaron Smith, and Porter's like telling stories like, no, we don't do that stuff around here. You're just a rookie. And Porter was saying how you saw the leadership in the locker room when you had people like Joey Porter, Aaron Smith, Hines Ward, and then you saw the leadership when Ben was made captain, not voted captain. He was like, we were voted captains. Ben was given captain because he would have a hissy fit. So all kind of stuff about like you're going to take shots at someone who's never going to respond. Well, I'll respond for him. And he's like, hey, Ben, you're my quarterback. You helped me win a championship, but that's about it. You were a actual bad teammate. And then you're seeing Instagram comments from other people like liking what Porter said, ex-players, more or less verifying what Porter's had to say about Big Ben. So, man, it was a wild ride, that whole episode, too, because Cam wasn't trying to play a diplomat. He wasn't trying to, oh, come on, Joey, let's, not say this, or hey, something cool happened, like this happened, remember that? He just let it go because he was there for overlapped with Ben. He overlapped with Deebol, so he knows what Porter was talking about. And Cam wasn't even trying to smooth it over. So it's kind of lending credence to what Porter said to be a lot of truth and fact from what he said in this interview.
It's interesting, Mike, because isn't this the every quarterback USA? I mean, all the way back to high school. You know what I mean? The quarterback, you either love him or you hate him. And all the regulars, they always hated the high school guy, the
Yeah,
quarterback. Everyone else loved him. And everybody always certainly has a different story about him when it's all said and done.
yeah,
And at the end of the day, this is some of the quotes that Joey Porter did say, Mike. He did say that Joey Porter was not a good teammate. He wasn't a good teammate. He also said he's not a good person. And he follows that up by saying, Mike, he has no right talking about the Steelers business on his podcast.
yeah. And that was one of the things too that like the reporter, she's like, "Oh man, imagine like podcasts being popular when you guys had them." And Joey's like, "Oh, we would have stories for days about our locker room and how
Right.
you know the stuff was." And that's what led into the stories about Ben and the stuff about Deebo as well. So it was an interesting inside look, and a lot of stuff like this happens in every locker room. It's not reported,
Absolutely.
and you hear stories of like, yeah, I may have won a championship with someone, but I don't like them. Like it's a job. You're gonna go and work with someone to get the job done. Then after that, you go back to not liking that person the other 6 months out of the year. So it's just a peek behind the curtain. That
And it's wild because a lot of times, Mike, when you have successful people, there's there's going to be ego. And
Mhm.
the thing is, at the end of the day, you just assume that everything was fine and dandy.
Yeah,
The team brought it together. They were one of the 6 teams that were fortunate enough in Steeler history to bring it together enough to win a
yeah,
Super Bowl together. And it's wild to finally get the tabloid stories, if you will,
yeah,
down the road as we are. And again, with Big Ben coming up on his Hall of Fame candidacy next year. Just again, very interesting.
yeah,
And as it was saying let me jump on the board because there are some comments that do refer to this, and I do want to get into those as well. I do want to say what's up, everybody. What's up, Somber? Always great seeing Somber, my man, on the terrible board. What's up, brother? Also, Tortilla says this Debo just mad in general. That's another thing Joey Porter said. They'd be at a high school football game, and Joey would be telling him to stop mean mugging people. And everybody knows a guy like this. Everybody knows a guy that's always pissed off, always miserable, and always walking around with that mean look on his face. And James Harrison is certainly that guy, mean mugging people at a high school football game. Great comment, bro. Also, RB said this: I haven't bought Steelers merch in 10 years. I'm ordering a hat and hoodie on payday because they finally did. And that's the way to do it. I've always been a pretty big supporter of that. If they're not, like the Pirates, there's no way I would have ever recommended anybody to go watch that team over the past 10 years, Mike, since they had their 3-year wild card window. And now, like I said, they're trying. So now, this is how you let the businesses, the companies, the owners know that you're satisfied with what it is they're doing. And again, who knows how much that played into it? But like you've seen the Pirates not showing up, you've seen them staging walkouts. Also during the Steelers, you've seen them, giving the Steelers their 2 cents. And at the end of the day,
yeah,
we are the consumer. And if we see, there's millions of us. So maybe, just maybe, we might see things that you're not seeing on the inside, like a pervasive, stance on things. And again, I'm not saying that they went out and said, "Oh, everybody's booing and saying fire Tomlin's dudes." I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying it's heard when fans are unhappy. It's heard when it's warranted. I think it's most important. Again, if people are just being pain in the ass fans, it's one thing. But if it's something like this where they look back and they say, "You know what, guys? It's been 10 years since we won a playoff game. Been this amount of time since we did this," and they went and made them moves. And you know what? I support that, and I'll continue to support it because I always say if they're doing a terrible job, why? Why would you go spend your money as if you were to go to a restaurant and they keep giving you shitty food? You would not continue to go back. So what would happen is they'd get on and they'd say, "You know what? We're fixing everything. The food's not going to be recooked again, not going to be reheated. Everything is fine." And then once it gets back to being what you like, you go back. So it's very similar in a way. It's all business at the end of the day. And that's just how I feel about it. And I'm very excited about the Pirates team. And again, Mike, even if they don't do fantastic, you got to like the moves. Again, kind of like with Omar Khan, you're starting to see things happening. And you know what? That's all we could ask for. At least you're trying. At least show us you're trying. And then we could feel more comfortable spending our money on your product at the end of the day. Otherwise, just take it and drive down the window, just throw it out the road, throw it out the window as you're going down the road, because that's what you're basically doing when you go to support these teams when they continue on those. There's no reason. There's no reason to continue on that path, Mike. There's no reason. At the end of the day, people always say, and I agree with it 100%, that they're making their money. They're making their money. They're going to do, as long as that they're putting asses in seats, that's where we have to come in as fans and hold them somewhat accountable. Again, I don't know to what degree we have an effect, but there is an effect. They look at numbers and, these are business people and they say, oh, well, this is going down. This is going down. Oh, why? Because, well, we haven't done anything in a decade. So maybe we have to remind them sometimes again. Whatever the case may be, Mike, we have to give them hell. I think that's our job as a fan. And again, nobody's making us go. Nobody's making us be a fan. But in part of the whole love of the sport, I think that's part of a part of the fans' duties is to make sure that the team realizes if you are happy or unhappy as supporters of their team. And we did that. They made changes. Hopefully things are going to move forward. Hopefully things get better for all three franchises. Again, Mike, I feel postseason victories this year for these three Pittsburgh professional teams.
I'm going to go on a limb and say I'm predicting early. Two of the teams will have a postseason, will advance in the postseason.
And we'll take it. We will take it. I will take it.
I think it's going to be the Penguins and the Steelers.
All right, it might be. It might be. Let's go to Somber. He says, oh, my God, honestly, I don't care about the Peasy stuff. Tortilla says this, that reporter was getting moved. There we go. Tortilla says that reporter was getting all the scoop she wanted. Vegas says, what's good, fellas? What's up, dude? What's up, Vegas? All the way from Vegas. Nice seeing you, brother, as always on the terrible board. Tortilla says, Cam told Joey, keep going, man. This is making people pay attention to me.
He had a grin on his face. And then at the end, he was like, wow, I didn't know this was where this was going to go.
Oh, my God, people are paying attention to me.
But, I tell you what, though, Cam did great by – you can tell he has a future in media.
Yes.
He just stepped back and let it go. He was like, yeah, it's my show, but I'm going to let Joey talk and let the reporter chime in with stuff that she heard and ask the questions and just let that conversation go. I think Cam's going to be great if he ever goes to do a traditional media role.
And I missed him. I guess early he was on Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. Him and Aaron Donald apparently were doing some part of the pregame.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it, unfortunately, but I couldn't agree with you more. If anybody is going to be in the media when it's all said and done, it'll be Cam Hayward. You know what? Best of luck to him.
I'll probably like him more as a member of a media than I did as a member of the Steelers.
You're right. Absolutely.
I think, don't get me wrong. I like watching Cam play. He frustrated me a lot, but I could sit there and he'd be like one of the guys I can sit there and listen to him tell stories about football or watch him break down the game of football. He just has that way about him of lending himself to a story.
I do want to say this before we do move on, Mike. It was 100. No, it wasn't. It was 19 days since the last time we had 32-degree temperature here in Western PA. Mike, 19 days. Guys, we are on a heat wave. That's right, a heat wave here in Western PA. I hear it's supposed to get up to 50 today. A lot of that snow is finally melting away, baby. And here we are, 50 degrees heat wave. And no shit, I did see people outside with their shorts. I see people outside with no jackets. You knew it was going to happen. 50 degrees after all those negatives. Feels like summertime, guys. 19 straight days below freezing. But here we are, baby. We're like Encino Man. We unfroze Mike out of that and back at it. Yes, old stuff, man, but great stuff. Let's jump back on the board. Great to see everybody. Welcome back, guys. It is Steeler off season, and there's a lot going on. We're going to get into it all today. I don't want to miss out on anybody. What's up, everybody? Let me go right here to my man, Steel for Life. What's up, man? Always glad to see you on the board. Steel for Life says this: off-season brings drama. Needs to stop, won't, but it needs to. It sure does. Let me go to my man Tortilla. Tortilla Jackson says this. Tortilla says, I can't wait for the TJ versus GP shit in 15 years. Black Magic, what's up, Jamal? Always great seeing my brother from Texas. Jamal says, hit that like button. We appreciate that, sir, as always. Hope things are going well for you, my man. And he follows it up by saying, gang, Steeler, gang all day, big baby. What's up, Jamal? Hope things are going well, dude. Steel for Life says no football to talk about becomes toxic in this whole immediate information era. Absolutely. The immediate, you know what, the Steel for Life, you really hit a key word there. It's this immediate information era. This is where it's causing trouble, I think, for just people in general, because whether it be real or whether it be fake or whatever information, it's always at the tip of our fingertips, and we're almost feeling superhuman sometimes. I think humans are with the information that we have access to instantly. But I think there's a lot more coming down the pike. We'll get into that maybe another day, a whole nother day, a whole nother show. Let me go to Just Learning. He says this: would Tomlin change his mind to retire if we would have beat Houston? Yes, but he would have changed it back after they would have lost in the next round, because we would have played who was it? Would have been Denver, New England, somebody. I think that it was eventually going to happen, but that was a big if. Again, losing 30-6, it was just a more of the same. But to me, in my opinion, Mike, if we would have beat Houston, he wouldn't have retired, of course, because we're moving on. But I do think he ultimately does make the decision in the second round. But what about the third round? Let's just say we sneak into the AFC Championship, Mike. Does that decision, is it still the same if they make it to the AFC Championship game and lose? Is Mike Tomlin still our coach if this team would have snuck into the AFC Championship game?
That's a good question, because like, you're not knowing him personally, but knowing the way you're hearing the stuff, the way like Tiki Barber's said, and the way the other, or Jake Glazer reported the stuff like Tomlin told them. I think that he would have followed through on his word of, like, no matter how the season ended, he was done. Like,
let's say it was a 3 more yards game, like the San Diego AFC Championship game in 1994, and we were just 3 more yards short. The ball gets batted down inside the 5-yard line, and we lose, and the other team goes to the Super Bowl. Like, say we were that close, like we were picking up some momentum and reasons to say, you know what, okay, maybe this isn't as bad as we all thought it was.
I still think he would have retired, because and basing it off like stuff like some of the players, I think like Cam said some of the things that Tomlin said to the team. There's like, it's time for me to move on. Time for, it's like me to move on, the team to grow and move on in the new direction. It's still, I think he would still have that, like, this is as far as I can get the team anymore. It's time for someone else to come in to get you guys further along than I could. I just feel
just
that
felt like it was time.
It felt like it was time. From what Jay Glazer said, what Tiki Barber or Rondé Barber said, excuse me, and like what Cam was saying in that meeting, like, it was, he knew it was time to move on. And and you can kind of see it too, like all like last year and this year, he had that look on his face, kind of like how Ben had it in his last year, how Aaron Rodgers had in games last year. Like, you can tell when people are nearing the end of a career in sport.
I know.
You can see it on their face. Like, they can tell you something, but you can just see it on their face to, it's like they don't have it anymore, and they know it. That realization has set in, and it's time to move on.
I couldn't agree more. Let me jump back on the board. Let me go right here. Jamal says, I think so too. To Just Learning's opinion of the Tomlin retiring. Steel for life. I'm sorry. Great show, by the way, guy. We appreciate that, sir, man. Thank you for being here. Greatly appreciated. Jamal says this: I still don't know what happened with Jay. All right, let me get through these messages and we'll talk about that again here in a second, Mike, because it is the big story today. I'm sure everybody is talking about it. Of course, Jay Peasy making some comments about Deebol and Big Ben Roethlisberger, guys. Pretty toxic stuff, but we'll get back to it here 1 second. Let's say what's up to Tommy Strings. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Tommy Strings on the terrible board. Welcome back, my friend. He says this actually made a live chat. How goes it, gentlemen? Of course, this is the show of you. And that's what we said from day one. This is not about me. This show is not about Mike. It's not. This show is about you. I listen, when I grew up in Pittsburgh, and I listened to the radio, and all these radio heads telling everybody that they're stupid and they don't know what football is, and you're not a fan. I thought that's bullshit. And I always said to myself, if I ever do something, I'm going to make it about the people of Pittsburgh, about the people that are fans of the Steelers, and let their voices be heard. And I'll highlight everything they say. And that's been the goal about this show for a long time. And again, it's all about you. This Mike coined it on the YouTube page itself. This is the real show of the fan, guys, and that's what it's all about. Again, I went so long without my voice being heard as a Steeler fan because of these jackasses that sit in radio stations that have a company carrying them all the way through and having all the resources. And I said, you know what, let's do it from the ground up. We're going to go in with nothing, but we're going to do the opposite of what they're doing because they suck a lot of times. How are you going to tell me I don't know football? How are you going to tell me I'm not a Steeler fan? How are you going to tell me again, these people are all about themselves and ego. This is why we do what we do, guys. In the most part, of course, we enjoy doing it. It's something that I've always been interested in my life. And at the end of the day, I'm very satisfied with the way things are going. And again, it's all about you guys. It really, truly, honestly is. And I try to tell you and thank you guys every day because that's how big you are to the show. I say that you are the backbone. I say that you are the lifeblood, and I mean it. I don't change my tune off the air. That's the same conversation that's consistent throughout, guys. And again, speak your mind. This is what it's about, baby. We're trying to do that to allow that to happen. Because again, I think that all Steeler fans come in all shapes and sizes. Some know a little bit, some know a lot, some know an extreme amount. That's crazy. Others know that they just like the colors. At the end of the day, they're all Steeler fans. And you know what? I want to hear what they all have to say without telling them that they don't know what they're doing or they don't know what they're talking about or they're stupid. I think that's insane. The fact that people keep tuning in, maybe people are glutton for the punishment, but at the end of the day, guys, it is all about you. Like Tupac said, somber. Tupac was one of my favorites, actually, growing up. Loved Tupac Shakur. Let's get back to the board. But guys, it is all about you. Tommy Strings, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Vegas is a perfect 62 right now in Vegas. And we are, Mike, we are inching up toward 50 here in PA, which is, again, after 19 days of weather below freezing. Here we are. We're finally getting back over that hump. And again, it's supposed to it looks pretty decent for the rest of February if you look at the forecast. Whether you can trust that or not, I don't know. But maybe we got the hardest stuff behind us.
Hopefully, because I am over the cold. I am definitely over. Now that you know that football season's over, the cold can go away. Because it's only fun when it's cold when there's football to be played.
Absolutely. Let me move up here a little bit. Let's stay on the board because, again, that is what we do. And again, I don't want to miss anybody on this hump day installment of the show. Tortilla Jackson. Tortilla says this. There are reports that Tomlin told somebody it was his last year. I can't remember, but it was before the season. If it's real, it kind of makes sense. They made the moves they did and he left so suddenly. Sorry. Yes, and that was kind of dipping back into what you were saying, Mike, because it was said to Jay Glazer and also Rondé Barber. He had that conversation, and Jay Glazer did a very good job of keeping it under wraps. You got to give him credit, Mike, for not running out and saying anything and keeping that. So that is the story. There was but here's the thing, though. It makes me wonder, Mike, if they would have snuck into the AFC Championship game, would that have just been pushed back another year? He still has another year on his contract. I wouldn't rule it out. Again, if something crazy would have happened and they were 3 yards away from the Super Bowl, I think maybe he might have pushed it back. But ultimately, I think that it was his time. He knew it was his time. Everybody knew it was his time. I think most people seen the writing on the wall, and he pulled the trigger because the way the season ended was very opportunistic for him to do that.
Yeah, and he just seems like that kind of guy. Like if he puts his mind to it, says I'm going to do this, and that's what's going to happen. Like he's like I'm done. And my God, he's coached for 19 years. Yeah, just and you saw him at his daughter's gymnastic meet down in Georgia, and he just looks so happy. You can just tell he just
he deserves to be happy.
You see it in every job too, when you can tell that person's just trying to get to that finish line.
And you know the thing about him, Mike, he's a successful person. Just because we're not happy the way the last 10 years played out for our football team, at the end of the day, the guy doesn't have a reason not to be happy. Hopefully, he enjoys his family, enjoys his money and his time, and enjoys the fruit of his labor. Because again, he was very successful. And again, you know what? Okay, it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but the man himself was successful. Good for him. Hope things go well for him moving forward, as we are going to do on our board right now. Let's scoot up to. Jamal says this. Tommy Strings, always the best show on YouTube. We appreciate that, dude. Always. And Jamal, that is you're the man. Jamal is the man. TC, what's up, dude? Always great seeing TC. Says afternoon, fellas. A man from Aliquippa, my neighbor. Tyrone says this. Okay, good. Everybody's cool. It's all good in the hood. I explained it earlier as Mike is the Beavis to my Butthead. Mike is the Batman to my Robin. I couldn't do it without him. I realized yesterday as I'm talking, and I needed all the things that he all the things that he does that might not be picked up on through the course of a show. I caught myself many times saying, "Damn, if Mike was here, I would do this," or if Mike was here, I'd have this information. I realized that I realized I'm not perfect. Believe it or not, I know everybody. I realized yesterday, it's only been 47 years. I realized I'm not perfect. And here we are. We're back.
You saying that reminds me of the one day we were getting into it. I'm like, did you take your medication? And you're like, no. And that's why the show's great.
Or that other time you told me, what'd you tell me? I was incorrigible. And I said, I know. You were yelling at me. You go, you're incorrigible. I was like, I know. So it happens. But guys, at the end of the day, the show is what's important. And again, we're moving in on 1,000. And again, we are moving in on year 5. Nothing's going to stop this train, baby. It's always moving. It's always been moving. And again, like I said, I like to pull up all the arguments. I wish we would have had all the arguments Mike docked, because I would love to go in, grab them all, and put them together in one big compilation just to make everybody uncomfortable and listen to them for a period of time, because there's some classics in there.
Yeah, we can make them listen to it.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to listen to it.
Absolutely. I'm not. I'll be so anxious and uncomfortable. I won't listen to it ever.
Oh, no.
Let me go up here to Cody. Cody says, "Quip life." That's right, big baby. Alec Quip all day, all day. Tommy String says, "Amen, Black Magic." Tortilla says, "The two Dum Yinzers made up, but all our OGs about to go at it." You know what? As I said at the beginning of the show, we love football so much here in Pittsburgh. When we don't have people to watch pushing each other around, we feel the need to start pushing each other around. It's just what it is.
They're stealing our gimmick.
They are stealing our gimmick. Yeah. Wait.
You know how many times I've seen us do something on a show, then someone else do it?
I know. Say what you will, but I absolutely seen it. Yes. The answer is yes. TC says this. Hey, Corey. Oh, what's up, dude? Cody says this. Well, 50. Calm down, killer. You know what? It's, as I said, 19 days below 32. And a lot of those days were below 0. So this 50 feels fantastic. Cody, always great seeing you on the terrible board, my man. Cody, everybody. Jamal says this at Tortilla. That's true. Like this was his all-in season. I'm sure he was pissed it didn't work out with GP. And you know what? As you say that, Jamal, really makes sense, because it kind of was an all-in season. They went out and did a lot of things that it was uncharacteristic of the Steelers. I mean, they brought in 30,000 DBs. Even when a guy went down, you know what? They went out and they grabbed Asante Samuel. When another guy went down, they went out and grabbed Kyle Duggar. So it really felt all in to me. I really think that they wanted to get that win so bad in the playoffs, just so it didn't kind of have this feeling at the end. Unfortunately, that's not the way it played out. But at the end of the day, again, separating football and life aside, the guy was extremely successful. I hope him nothing but the best for him and his family. And I hope, again, he may be back in the media, and which would be fantastic. But at the end of the day, if he would decide to spend the rest of his life with his family and do that, that would be just fine as well. So all prayers and thoughts to Mr. Tomlin as he continues on his life. Let's do scoot up here too. Somber says absolutely nothing. Cody says this. What up, TC? My man Tommy Stringsfellow. What it do? Scoot up a little bit more right here. RB says this. TJ versus anyone. I don't understand why TJ has some hard ass lore with fans, though very talented. TJ has been the furthest thing from a tough guy. Lewin spit in his face and he walked away like a bee. Speaking of B, I heard that another couple wasn't doing so good, Mike. I heard Cardi B and Stephon Diggs broke up this morning.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs not only brought Cardi B to the Super Bowl, Stephon Diggs apparently brought the side chick to the Super Bowl as well.
I heard. Is that what it was all about?
Yeah. So after he lost the game, she was like, "You're a disgrace to the game."
My God.
Don't bring if you're gonna be dumb enough to have a side piece, don't bring them to the same event.
It sounds like a movie plot. You know what I mean?
It does too.
You know, you're following all the scenes. You're watching it play out, and you're seeing Stephon run over to this girl and give her a kiss, and then you're running over to the other girl. You know, it's a whole movie played out. But Cardi B, there you go, guys, is available once again as she kicks Stephon Diggs to the dirt the day after the Super Bowl. It seemed like very shortly thereafter. Crazy work. Let's move on the board. I'm gonna go right here to Cody. Says Dylan. Kenneth, what's up, dude? Kenneth says hello, fellas. Always great seeing Kenneth on the board. My man, the great Kenneth Jones. RB Moats and Dupree had to check Lewin for that after the game while TJ twiddled his thumbs. Cody says this can't use your government name. They're watching. They're always watching. There's always somebody watching for sure. Cody says this doing some BS at work right now. That's what it be, bro. We get it. Yinzer Joe says, I think Tomlin had his mind already set to retire no matter what happened. Tortilla says, my government name is Tortilla Strings says, I think you're right, Joe. Or Tommy Strings, I'm sorry. Tortilla says 9 and 8. 9 and 8. But that's your name? Or that's the record. Somber says this. He was ready to retire in 2023 after the Kenny stuff. Why does the Kenny stuff make me automatically think that? I don't know. I don't even know why my brain went there. Why does when somebody says Kenny stuff, it makes me think of butt? And you know what? There's the government. There's the government right there. Mike,
it is too. It's government and Big Rooney coming in to get us.
It's like when people talk about butt stuff, it's funny. When people talk about Kenny stuff, it's hilarious. That's what I thought of when I seen him say the Kenny stuff. Let me do
Liv Morgan's butt stuff.
Yes. Let me scoot a little bit because that did mess with my board, but I'll be able to rebound. I swear I will. I'm just trying to get back to where we were.
Ryan's lost. My bad. I broke the computer.
No, you're good. I just when I go from one board to another, there's a whole switch that I got to do.
Yeah. Are you like Stallone and over the top? You got to turn your hat back around.
Basically,
it's like a switch. It's like a switch.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you're searching for that. I got some.
Yeah, I do.
Back to the Joey Porter stuff. Like Mason Rudolph commented on Instagram on it. Go off, Porter. Mike Mitchell was like, Peasy talking that shit. Mike Adams, amen. Hold them boys accountable. Ben talking shit about anybody is comical. So it's I love Austin. I love how it's not the current players beefing with current players. It's all the old guys beefing with each other. So it's not bleeding into the locker room and the new team dynamic. So, Big Mike McCarthy don't have to deal with all this nonsense. It's just all the old guys talking shit about each other. I wonder if like Tomlin and Cow are texting each other like, aren't you glad we don't have to coach anymore and deal with this high school drama?
I do think I'm back, Mike. We'll grab some more of these messages, and we'll certainly stay on this again. A lot of talk today about this Joey Porter. And you know what? Joey Porter running his mouth should not be a surprise to anybody. This was one of his better qualities, I thought. Mike, obviously being a linebacker, he was pretty great, but his mouth was one of my favorite things when he played, and we'll get into that here so much more. Let me stay on this board to try to keep caught up. Steeler Freak John, Big John Stud, middle name Mud. Always great seeing you from all the way out in Las Vegas. Mike, he says, Mike, glad you're back. Vegas. I'm sorry, Steeler Freak John says this. Tyrone says our offense better get right this season. Somber says there it is, like Tupac. Yinzer Joe, Ryan, I really, truly, honestly like to listen to you guys, and we truly, honestly love to talk with you guys. It's really, it's all about. It's all about the talk. It's Steeler talk, and that's what it's all about. And we want to hear it all. We wanted to get. And here's the thing: some people don't have a voice. Some people, they want to talk about the Steelers. They would love to talk about the Steelers. And maybe they have a bunch of information, And this we love to have that platform to have it out there for people to be able to do that. Because again, guys, I grew up in PA, and my you didn't have these kind of things, obviously, when we were growing up, Mike. And then as you started getting older and you're starting to make the calls to the radio, as guys do, and again, these people were repulsive, in my opinion, these DJs and people that are doing these shows. So again, this is kind of what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. It's about you. It's about the Steelers. It's about Yinzer Nation. It's about Steeler Nation. And again, that's what really matters, guys. At the end of the day, we're the without the fans, the team is a team with nobody sitting in the stadium, and that just doesn't work, guys. So again, thank you. Greatly appreciated for the compliment, Yinzer Joe. Steeler Freak says this: Tortilla, get your hands off your junk. Steel
Where's
for life.
The fun in that?
I know. Steel for Life says this: I'm just old and tired of people not being decent. You know what? I'm getting to that point too, man. Vegas says this: I think I have more Steelers jackets and hoodies than Vegas has cold days. I know I probably certainly do. Cody says this: I took vacation. I'm going hunting tomorrow. Work day going by very slow. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad that you get out and do some hunting and any fishing as well. Hunting and fishing. Get this day knocked out, man. You got it. You got it.
He's going cougar hunting.
Cougar hunting. All right. Let's go. Steeler Freak says this: Vegas, it is really warm this winter, which is crazy because it was extra cold here in Pittsburgh for the winter, guys. The last few years have been very mild compared to what we've dealt with so far this year. But Mike, I'm seeing some things change, and again, I hope it sticks.
So do I, because I'm tired of this fucking cold. Like the weather's starting to change. I can feel I got a tickle in the back of my throat. I don't like it.
Let's see. Let's go right here. Vegas says this. He says, right, I'm not mad about it one bit. Tommy String says, what's up, Cody? Tyrone says, I'm ready for the draft, bro. I'm excited to see this live. Guys, it's going to be a blast. Again, only 72 days away from the NFL draft right down on the North Shore. It's going to be here sooner than we know it. Again, guys, we have the combine coming up at the end of the month. We have tampering period for free agency coming up at the end of the month. We have the draft coming in April, Mike. And then after the draft, it's all kind of things. You have OTAs, you have rookie camps, you have so much stuff. And guys, again, within the next month, 1 month from yesterday, it's going to be the tampering period for free agency. So with this time next month, guys, people could be moving around. We could be bringing people in to fill holes. We could be getting rid of people. And here's a good question, though. You know, we know that we have a big draft coming, but what are we going to do in free agency? Yep. What are we going to do to fill holes? Because obviously you're not going to fix this team with draft picks. There's things that are going to need addressed beyond the draft, Mike. So again, 1 month from today begins the tampering period for free agency. And again, you will start to see players move from team to team, which could, again, very well, Mike, land some talent that you might have liked or even somebody you didn't like right here on our Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and I like to think, like, with the free agency moves, that kind of gives you an idea how the team's going to lean into the draft. So you figure out, okay, who do we bring in and what caliber of player at that position? Now, that's a starter. Okay, so that position is off the draft board in the first 3 rounds. Okay, so now that it narrows it down. I like using the free agency. It's a good indicator of what they have planned for the draft. So, and I want to see, you know, what positions they hit hard. Are they going to hit, you know, left guard hard in free agency and to, you know, not have to worry about finding one in the first 3 rounds to become a starter? Wide receiver, are they going to go heavy wide receiver in free agency so they don't have to go, you know, first round? So it's going to be fun with all that shit coming up to see, you know, what kind of roster, what the roster is going to look like, because we kind of had an idea of what kind of players we would get under Mike Tomlin led team. They would like to sign free agents that, you know, they visited before and missed in the draft. Like, hey, we want to work with these guys. Let's go out and get one of those guys. We don't know what Mike McCarthy's philosophy is going to be here in Pittsburgh.
You're right.
I not studying his moves from afar from when he worked in Dallas and Green Bay. You got to figure, though, in Dallas, Jerry Jones was the GM. He was everything. He ran that team. So you got to look, okay, what did he do in Green Bay? Well, what was their philosophy there? Did their GM run the show and no input from the head coach? How much input did he have? We really don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see how free agency this year is going to shape the draft, because I think it's going to be totally different. It's going to be a totally different offseason than we've seen. But these past couple off seasons with Weedle and Omar Khan have been different than what we've been used to with Kevin Colbert, where Colbert would get really low tier bargain big guys, where Khan and Weedle will try and get some guys who had some pedigree, who were kind of higher end free agents. What's McCarthy's philosophy going to be going in? So are we going to make a run at big, young big names and spend money? We're going to go after some mid-tier guys. We're going to go after older vets towards the end of their contract. It's going to be interesting.
It sure is. So much stuff in the next 73 days is going to form what this team is going to do, Mike, certainly for the next season and possibly beyond for sure. We're going to be learning a lot about our Pittsburgh Steelers in the next 73 days, as the draft is in 72 days. So we'll just call it 73. That'll take you to the midway point of the draft. You get the point. Let's jump back on the board here. Let's go to Somber. Somber says this. He says 54 people on the board, only 16 likes. Can we be a decent human being and please like the stream? Thank you, Somber. Greatly appreciated, my friend. As always, Cody says this. Did you hear him on the pod? Yeah, we did touch on that briefly at the beginning of the show. We did hear Joey Porter talking some shit on Ben. We heard him talking a little bit about Deebo. Again, some drama stirring in the Berg this morning. We'll get back to that and so much more. We got free agency to talk about today, quarterbacks, a lot of different things, guys. Do hang out. It's going to be a good show today. Do stick around. Also, Tortilla says, Steel Freak, my bad. Vanilla Thunder got me excited. Vanilla Thunder got him excited. There
I
you go.
get everyone excited. It's my curse. I'm sorry.
12 days until the Combine. That's right, Vegas. We do got the Combine coming up at the end of the month. It is going to go through the beginning of March, starts at the end of April into March. We'll be here before we know. We'll be watching that. Also, Tyrone says, Cody, don't be killing deer is my favorite animal. Barbary sheep, Cody is saying. Tyrone's spiritual animal is what Jamal is saying. Also, Steeler Freak John says, Vegas, let's meet at Noreen's Lounge when Finchy comes out. Oh, there you go, guys. The big night out with Finchy. That could be a lot of fun. Let's go to Vegas. Vegas says 28 days to the start of free agency. That's right. That is when the tampering period starts, and then it follows. And I think it's roughly a week or so, and then you get into the full swing of things. But guys, as I said, the next 73 days are really going to put a print on what this team is going to be with free agency coming in a month, with the draft coming in just 72 days. So much stuff for the Steelers. It's going to form the way that it's going to form the way that this team is, Mike, moving forward, certainly for the next year, probably more, as we did say. Vegas, I'm sorry, Steel for Life says this. We thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate that. Tyrone says Batman Abs Robin. Tortilla says deer is your favorite animal, Tyrone. Tyrone says, yes, sir. And he also says, my favorite animal is the beaver. Of course. The beaver. Remember when Derpy's aunt jumped on the other week and said something about her beaver smelling like peanut butter and dog spit or something like that? The last time that the word beaver really was highlighted on this show, Derpy's Aunt Peaches. Have not seen her for a while, Mike, but peanut butter and dog spit is what she says her beaver smells like.
Dog spit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a dog spit and peanut butter. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
I remember that. I remember clear as yesterday. Let's jump right down here to Vegas. Vegas says I read the place closed when I was looking up the Steelers bars in town to make a list for Finch. Also, Tortilla says my favorite animal is Nick Herbig. I like that. He is an animal. Let me scoot down a little bit further. To Steel for Life, I remember telling Cordell and Bus for the golf cart. I remember telling Cordell and Bus for the bus cart at Latrobe. Tried to bypass the kids that can't get. Yeah, you especially hate to see it at camp. I mean, that's what it's about. Getting out there, meeting the players. And I know they got work to do, but at the end of the day, they try to accommodate. They really do. Steeler Freak says this. He says, Mr. D's Sports Bar and Grill. Finch will be on tomorrow. For the duration of the show. So if you want to let him know about some of those updates and places that you did find, because he will be heading out to Vegas, Mike, right around the time of the draft. So that would be cool. It'd be cool to get together and meet Finch. Let me scoot forward.
You poor guys.
Mark Malone says, to hell with that guy. Steel for Life says they came back out and signed autographs till late in the day. Way to step up, guys. They were being tired. They were tired. Vegas says this. He says, I've been looking for a nice Steeler bar that was in a casino. I think it was in one of them up near Angel Park. Cardi B, it's not a loss. That's what Somber's saying. He thinks Stephon Diggs is going to land on his feet. He'll be fine without Cardi B.
I think so too.
I don't know that WAP, baby. I don't know how you have access to that WAP, and now you don't.
No.
I'm just saying. Who doesn't love the WAP? Let's go down here a little bit too. Oh man, it's moving on me again. All right, right here. I think this should be good. Maybe. See, I don't know how it even scoots on this board for me, but it does.
We need to do not only a hypercut of all of our arguments, but a hypercut or a smash cut or whatever you want to call it, an outtake reel of you and technology.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
I think Ryan versus technology would do numbers.
We could have a 15-hour segment.
I think, and that's only through 15 episodes.
I mean, there it is.
Like
Okay.
if anyone could ever see Ryan's setup, there are so many screens in there. I think my man's like flying into space, or he's running one of those overseas Twitter troll farms. I don't know what he's trying to do there, but
I like to pretend I'm a pilot when I'm back here. I look at all my screens. I look at all my monitors.
That's what it looks like. It's like you're trying to fly to the moon.
It makes me feel a lot more important than I really am. So just bear with me, would you? Let's
As
look
I
at
say that, as I have like 3 screens going on as well.
Vegas. Or I'm sorry, RB. RB says this. Did anybody see Philadildo? Of course, Filippato begging for Rodgers to be gone and started gushing over bringing in Jacoby Brissett. How do these morons keep their jobs? That's what I'm saying. This is what we have to turn to when we try to get our Steelers scoop and information. I would so much rather hear what the people have to say than some of these guys. My God.
Like the things like with those guys, it's just they're regurgitating the same thing that they've heard someone else say. And
Right.
they all more or less have the same talking points and opinions, and they'll look up stuff on the fly, and they sound smart to people.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then they'll say something outrageous to grab your attention, and then they'll
Yeah.
just continue to beat that drum. Let's scoot down here a little bit. Steeler for Life said, made those kids' day. Steel for Life. I'm sorry. I'm sure they did, man. That's wonderful. I'm glad they did come back out and do that. Tortilla says he's probably got a few side pieces in every say. I'm sure he does. Vegas is in every area code. Hose in every area code, right?
But why take the side piece when your main chick's there?
That's right.
This is
it has a bad Hallmark movie written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like day one player stuff that you get in the manual. Now all the players get. You keep your hose away from the same area that your main chick's going to be in, boys. Like, come to the Vanilla Thunder seminar.
The Vanilla Thunder School of Hose.
Of how to get hose, because there's one. If Ryan has seen it firsthand, when Vanilla Thunder is out. True. The hose will come a crawling.
It's true. I seen it. Let's go to Isaiah Coach. I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the Terrible Board. Isaiah Coach of the 2008 Steelers, 2009 Steelers. Some really, really, really great Steeler teams, of course. Tyrone says this, since Lindsay ain't here, 2490. Tortilla says we got a number of our comments. Also 9024, he is saying, Tyrone is John says, I got a piece in every continent. I like it. Hey, even Antarctica, beyond that wall. Just curious.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That took me a second right there.
Tommy String says, this damn freak, you're my hero. Mine are just in North America. Also, let me go to Smitical. I do want to say welcome to Smitical. Welcome to the Terrible Board. Welcome to the show. Smitical says this, Joey Porter has known for talking, but Deebo and Joe Hayden have a podcast, and they are interesting. Ben was legit as a player, and they all have an opinion, but they need to move out of the way. You know what? It's interesting. Mike and I did it. We talked about this for about 20 minutes before we got on the show today. And at the end of the day, it's like, and I get it. I just don't understand this much later, coming out and saying, oh, he was foul. He was foul. Because at the end of the day, I seen him do some good things for the team. Like, as we've been talking about on this team, where he would negotiate his contract every so often. Yeah. He would take less money just so the team would stay competitive. I always thought that was super cool. Again, I don't know everything that happened in the locker room. I'm not saying that he's a saint, because he's not. We're human. We all F up and do some crazy shit. But at the end of the day, it was just odd to me to hear Joey come out and say those things. Mike, he said these words. He said that he's not a good person. In quote, he said he wasn't a good teammate. End quote, and also has no right talking about the Steelers business on his podcast. So just very shocking things. Again, was it to get attention? Probably not. Joey's mouth always goes, so it doesn't surprise me. But what does surprise me at the end of the day, Mike, is they do have these feelings toward one another, this animosity toward one another, being that they did share such a special thing in their career. I mean, this is what these guys do from day one. They were football players. They grew up they made a lot of money, and to be able to accomplish the goal that group of guys pulled back in 05, 06 together with Peasy on the team, beating Indianapolis. I mean, come on, the Colts should have beat us. The way that way that played out for that team, and when they went on to win Super Bowl 40, I thought should always kind of keep them some good company within one another. I was pretty surprised to hear Joey say these things this morning. And like I said, I don't know enough to agree or disagree. I just know that I was kind of surprised.
But like Joey said too in that whole segment too, he's like, that's my quarterback. He's like, I won one championship and he's the reason why I got it. So he's, not taking anything away from him as a player. And it was just like that conversation that they were having about, stuff in the locker room. And then now that, they have their platform and what they're saying now, and he's just responding to stuff that they said and like, hey, you want to say stuff like that, stuff can be said about you, X, Y, and Z. So it was an interesting observation from his part. He was just giving his perspective of everything, but he didn't take anything away from him as a player. And he knows, like, hey, this is the guy that got me a Super Bowl. But you weren't perfect, and maybe don't speak ill about people not being perfect as well at their job when people can say stuff about you. So it was just it was fun. I had fun watching it because I love those dynamics because it always takes me back to years ago with an interview Jack Ham had. He was asked, like, what comes first, winning or chemistry? And he was like, winning comes first. You win, then you become close as you win. That's where the chemistry comes from. And, to a lot of these guys, this is just a job to them. And I've worked jobs with people I've hated, but we had a goal to do. We're going to, get there, do the work, and you just go home and you don't, talk, you don't deal with each other. And that's how it is in these locker rooms. A lot of people think it's all kumbaya. It's like, a lot of these guys probably hate the person next to them, but hey, I'm getting paid a lot of money to go out there and do a job. So are you. And we want to go to the same goal. We'll deal with it and then move on.
Let me jump to Tommy Strings. He says, you're putting us on a pedestal, Ryan. You're putting us on a pedestal. I hope I don't disappoint you. You never disappoint. Don't you worry about that. Again, we're coming up on our 5 years, 1,000 episodes a little bit later this year, guys. Never once have you disappointed. Again, always think the highest of the viewers, people that come in on the Terrible Board and Steeler Nation. That's never going to change. Let's go to Tyrone. He says, Joey Porter, only one who should really be in it because the GOAT is his son, JPJ. Of course, Ty loves JPJ, and we all do. Don't get me wrong. He's really coming along very well. Tyrone did say what happened, though. It was basically on the on Cam Hayward's podcast. Joey Porter made some comments about Ben, about Deebo, some other things. It's ruffling some feathers. Certainly got a lot of people's attention here in Pittsburgh this morning. But it's like everything else, it's going to come and go, and they're going to be fine. And the next time you see Joey Porter and Ben Roethlisberger, I'm sure they're going to be shaking hands and giving each other the hug and everything else. So probably not too much to worry about moving forward. It just seems like it is what it is. And again, when you have shows, again, Ben has a show, Cam has a show, Deebo has a show. Speaking of Deebo, Mike, I want to talk about a couple things about James Harrison as we do move forward here. James Harrison loves the idea or the hire of the new defensive line coach, Damata Pecco. Mike, I know you love the hire of the coach on the defensive line, Damata Pecco. Deebo really likes this a lot, Mike. Is it gonna pay dividends in the end? Or are we gonna see the results of this in the sense of the line is going to improve? Is it going to improve Keanu Benton? Is it going to what is Pekka going to do, and why do you and Harrison love him so much?
I love it just because the way he played the game. Every time we played the Bengals, you had to worry about him. He was like more or less like their version of Hampton. They played a little different styles, but more or less the same. I just loved his game, and hopefully he can teach, these young guys of his technique that worked for a long time in the NFL and bring that on. I'm hoping he can, because I wasn't really impressed with, the work that he did in college, but it was with, Buffalo or the Colorado Buffs, and they didn't have the best D-line, but I don't think they recruited a lot of talent. But he seems like a kind of guy that, can get the attention of the guys in the pros, and the pros will listen to him because this guy has been there. He did that. He's been in some good battles with the Steelers, and he's respected throughout the league. So I'm just hoping, he can teach his experiences and teach his technique to players, because some players they just know how to do it. Can they teach it? So that's why I kind of like it. I think he seems like that kind of guy that can impart that knowledge on these guys, and I hope he does because I always liked him. He's one of those guys against one of our rivals that I always wished was a Steeler. So I'm just hopeful that he'll be able to impart that knowledge because he was a good player, not an all-world player, but a damn good player. If the guys can learn his skill set and what he did, and he can take them to the next level, because we're seeing Harmon got better and better as the year went on. Same thing with Y.A. Black. He got a little better as the year went on. If he can keep pushing them further, it's going to be a damn good hire.
Talking about just a few things, quotes that did come out of some recent podcasts. Of course, we did mention the three, Benz and Cam's, and also Deebo and Hayden. Mike, this was something that was on Cam's podcast the other day. This was when Porter was talking to Pac-Man Jones, of course, from the Cincinnati Bengals back in the day. Pac-Man Jones says this: Steelers were soft and couldn't and got their asses whooped by the Bengals all the way from 2010 to 2017. This is what Pac-Man Jones says. And after going back and looking at the record in that particular time period, the Steelers were in fact 14-3 against the Bengals in that period of time. Pac-Man Jones still salty after that playoff game. So was perfect. I could guarantee that. Mike, just funny that he says that we were soft and they pretty much dominated us for 7 years. And again, in that time period, including a playoff game, we were 14-3 against the Bengals.
Yeah, we lost back-to-back games one time in that time frame, and it was from 1 year to the next.
Yes.
So they didn't even sweep us in a single season.
That's like a lot of these Ravens fans now talking about how they deserve to be first place. The Steelers don't deserve to be in the playoffs. We just beat you 10 out of 12 times. We literally beat the Ravens with their MVP quarterback, with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
We still managed to beat them 10 of the last 12 times, Mike, and we were going through some pretty sketchy seasons.
Wait, with Ben with like no elbow, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. I mean, the cast of characters at quarterback, and we have this great record against you. It's comical, and like the national media too. Oh, Baltimore, they carry that division. Like, oh, Baltimore's going to handle Pittsburgh. Like, how? The track record says no. Even when we're up and down, we still find a way to beat them.
10
so it's just comical.
Out of the last 12. Mike, and you got to figure, before they won the 2 last year, we had 8 in a row.
Yeah.
We had won 8 in a row against Baltimore. So it's only, it's crazy talk. A few more things.
I just want to know what kind of TE Pac-Man Jones has.
I know. A couple more things I'm going to talk about. Just some other quotes here from these 3 podcasts. Mike, again, they're gaining a lot of attention these days. Joe Hayden. This was something that Joe Hayden made a comment about trading up in the draft. Mike, of course, the draft coming in just 72 days. Joe Hayden made something that I agree with. Joe Hayden said this: a good 8 picks is better than just 12 in regards to trading up, maybe trading and moving around to get yourself better players in the draft. Mike, do you agree with Joe Hayden? Joe Hayden says this again, Mike, quote, a good 8 picks is better than just 12 picks. Mike, explain what that means.
Yeah, I've been advocating this since the season ended. Like, I'm on board with trading up in the first round. Make sure you get your guy. If you have your eye set on one of the top 3 receivers, trade up, get one of them. I'd rather have a top 3 rated receiver than a top 10 or top 15 rated receiver. Trade up again in the second round. You're getting better guys at the position you need than waiting till later in the draft and getting lower tier rated guys. Because it's, you never know how things are going to play out, but it's better on paper to go out and get the studs than getting the 5th best wide receiver, getting the 7th best defensive back. No, trade up, get the top 4, get the top 5 guy at each position if you can. Move up and down the draft. I want to see the Steelers move up in the first round, the second round, and the third round. You have all this draft capital, use it. Hit home runs in the first 3 picks, then you can hit some doubles and singles and round out your roster with some other picks, instead of getting a double here in the first round, another double here, another double there. No, go hit home runs. Get quality over quantity.
If you can hit a home run, you got to hit it. You know what I mean? Don't pass up a home run.
Hit a triple.
Hit a triple. Let's talk about a few other things, Mike, and then we're going to move forward because, again, we are going to talk quarterbacks today. Again, some just interesting words that I've been here floating around regarding Aaron Rodgers, regarding Malik Willis, regarding Kobe Brissett, Kyler Murray, Tua, a lot of names. My question with that, with what I just said being said, with what I just said being said, I've been on this. We got to move forward. It's time to move forward. And a lot of people are saying, well, you know what? If Aaron comes back, and one thing I always got to say, he's not a Steeler. The guy is a Packer quarterback through and through. He's going to retire a Packer, and it's going to be Packer love till the end of his life when he does retire. My question is this: we talked a little bit about it yesterday, or what do you what? Because here's the thing: people want Aaron because he can give us probably another extra win or two, depending on what happens this year. Like through free agency, and we get the players and we put a game plan together, we might be able to win like we did last year, 10, 11, possibly even 12 games. This is what people are believing because he knows what he's doing, even though he is pushing 50 years old at the end of the day. Here's my question, Mike, or what's more important, wins versus learning how to win? Would you my thing is this: move on him, even if you fall a little bit. Now your team learns how to win with the players that are going to be on this team moving forward. So if what I'm saying, in other words, if the group of guys that are there, they have to take a step back because they don't have a quarterback who's been there, done that, knows what he's looking for, and they have to, get your ass beat every now and then. That's what I would prefer. My question is, Mike, wins versus learning to win. Aaron's going to bring you those couple extra wins, but it's going to kick the can down the road. On the other hand, go with what you have or what it is you want to do moving forward. Maybe fall a little bit, but you learn how to win. I don't know if this team is learning how to win under the guise of Aaron Rodgers, Mike, because, again, he kind of comes in with what he knows. When he's gone, he's gone. If let's say that Will Howard's not the guy, let's say they go out and get a quarterback first round next year, they get their guy, let's just say, and Will Howard's not the guy. So everything that he learned under Aaron Rodgers goes to what? All I'm saying is win versus learn to win is what I think is the position that we're at. We're at the fork in the road right now. We could choose Aaron, and we could probably win 10 games, maybe win 11, or go our own route, move forward, move past Aaron, and learn to win. I think that's a lot more beneficial moving forward, Mike, than depending on Aaron to pull off a game out of his ass and win us a game late in the game with his arm against Cincinnati at the end of the season or whatever. Win versus learn to win, Mike. Which way do you lean?
Normally, I'm always for the win, but in this case, I'm ready to go learn to win. So I'm tired of having older quarterbacks come in. If they do bring back Aaron Rodgers, you better pay Kenny Gainwell $34 million a year because that's your wide receiver number one right there. Get ready for another 17 games of check down. I don't want to see that. Let's just move on, move forward.
Everybody else is continuing to move on and move forward, but we're looking for the oldest possible guy that we could find. Again, Jacoby Brissett's name came up, and again, I don't hate Jacoby. I actually think he's very talented, but at the end of the day, is this the direction we're moving? Is this where we want to go? Yes, he might be able to slot you in a couple wins during his time here, but again, are you learning how to win? Because we are going to be at a point where we're going to have our franchise quarterback, whether we be through draft, whether it be through grooming Will Howard. These kids should be learning how to win at the end of the day. Again, yes, you do learn from Aaron Rodgers, but this can has been being kicked down the road for way too long, in my opinion. I think it's time that we stand on our own 2 feet. Don't depend on Aaron to pull a win out of his ass with his arm here and there throughout the season. They have to learn to win at some point, Mike. And again, I just don't know if they're putting themselves in the best position to do that with this decision. And again, we don't know. We don't know if Aaron is coming back, but I do know that we're going to be playing his game, Mike. Word is that they're going to continue to give him his time. And at the end of the day, unless they have already had an inside conversation like they did last year, and no, I don't like this idea. I don't like it at all, Mike. Again, and he is pushing 50. If anybody wants to bring up that again, Mike. Come on. He's closer to 50 than he is to 30.
Yeah. It's time to move on from him. You don't need a Jacoby Brissett. I'm sorry. Like, we have our backup quarterback. We have the quarterback that they're bringing along to groom. You need you need someone in there who can be a viable starter. Aaron can be a viable starter, but not someone who's in their mid 40s. We don't need that. Malik Willis. Okay, he's going to cost too much money, but if you can get him on like a $10 to $15 million a year deal for 2 to 3 years, give it a try. That's something I would be okay with, but we don't need Aaron Rodgers. We don't need a Kyler Murray. We don't you know, need a Kirk Cousins, like go with who you have on the roster, or if you fall in love with someone in the draft, make sure it's the right one and get them. Like it's figure out what you have. We don't need an older quarterback. That's I'm trying to think of like an old quarterback that I would take in the league right now that would actually help us out and put us over the top. Derek Carr's not on that list. I know there's talk about, oh, he can come out of retirement from his injury thing. The Saints would trade him. He sucks. Like I'm trying to think of a quarterback active right now that we could take. I'd take like a Baker Mayfield. I think we put him on this team where we're one of the better teams in the AFC, but that ain't gonna happen. They're not gonna move on from him. So go out and find your quarterback.
Speaking speaking of Malik Willis, Mike, of course, everybody did see his small sample size of success late in the year last year. The Browns and the Dolphins. Mike, they are also interested in Malik Willis. The Browns only have 55 quarterbacks on their roster. It's very similar to Arthur Smith and his tight ends. But Mike, the Browns are showing interest in Malik Willis. Again, the Dolphins, I think they're ready to move on from Tua. I'm just not a jump on the Malik Willis train guy. I just, again, we've seen his success in small sizes. I say we keep looking young. We keep looking at these drafts keep coming up. Some of these guys are going back to college this year that were expected to join the draft, jump in the draft this year. In a sense, Mike, there's a sense of urgency, but there's also a sense of don't just do it just to do it. I can see us making a move just to do it. You have to find that there's a gray area right in between to where you got to be urgent, but still don't rush it to where you make a bad decision with this quarterback. But again, Mike, I just don't feel that Aaron Rodgers is benefiting. Yes, I think he's going to help us get a couple extra wins throughout the season because, again, he's done that. He's been there. He knows what he's doing. But at the end of the day, at some point, we have to stand on our own feet and attempt to move forward with this team. Otherwise, to me, it just feels like another year of kicking that can down the road. When are we going to be able? Because what if Aaron steps away? He retires next year. Say he comes this year, he steps away, and again, maybe we do find a guy we like in the draft. Maybe we like Arch Manning. Maybe we like whoever, and we get him. What did all that work and what did sitting behind Aaron Rodgers do to benefit Will Howard if that be the case? So again, Mike, I think you have to get by this, but with 1 year possible, 1 year, just 1 year. I mean, he's probably going to guarantee retire for sure after this year. Do you think that we take the time? Do we take the chance with another season with him slotted in at quarterback? Is it worth it to you? Do you feel that if this has gone on too long and we need to start moving in the right direction? Because again, this is a big part of what's going to happen with this team next year. Mike, Aaron Rodgers may or may not be our quarterback.
Like I wouldn't be opposed to it if last year I saw him consistently trying to push the ball down the field. Like, yeah, he threw some nice deep balls, but they were not consistent when he threw them. Like every once in a while, he'd hit a nice one.
Yeah,
and he was too quick to bail on a play. He didn't have the mobility. He was more mobile this year than he was like the last year in New York. But he doesn't deal well with the pressure anymore when it's coming at him or when players are at his feet. He can't deal with that anymore. So just move on from him. You have been building a nice little team for the past couple of years since Omar and Weedle took over. This is the year to plug the remaining holes. And yes, this was going to be the year we were going to use draft capital to get a quarterback. It's been plain as day if you've been following the way they've been building this team, that this was the year they were going to get it. Okay, now he's not there. Well, okay, guess what? Go get a stud wide receiver, a stud corner with your first pick. Plug another major hole right there, and then see what you got with Will Howard, or run it with Mason Rudolph, and then next year you can get a quarterback next year. Keep building this team. So when you do find a quarterback who can at least manage the game, manage the flow of the game, they're plucked right in there, and things are good to go. This is kind of what happened when we got Ben. The groundwork of the team was already there. It was just missing a quarterback. Everything was set for the most part. The line, the running backs, the corners, everything was there. You had your weapons on offense. You had your playmakers on defense, a damn good defense to begin with. Keep doing that. You can still win games. You can still be competitive. And you also run the risk of like having a bad year where you can pick up higher, where you don't have to trade picks to move up.
Right.
So we're in a situation where we can go out and try and be competitive. And if we are, awesome. And if we go out and try and be competitive and fail, that's going to suck. But guess what? That's going to set us up for a better draft pick whilst having a good team. You don't have to tear it down, have a bad team, get a bunch of high draft picks, and hopefully you can build a good team. You've been building a good team this whole time. Keep that going. Don't change that philosophy. We, yes, last year we kind of swung for the fences to getting guys in, but guess what? We didn't compromise the core of the team. We didn't compromise draft picks. We didn't even compromise salary cap space going into this year. So keep doing that, because eventually you're going to find your quarterback, and then you have a good team going and ready to go.
We're gonna bleed into some free agency talk. Mike, let me jump on the board though. I want to read some more again. You guys are awesome today. Please keep them coming. If I don't get them during the show, believe me, I do catch them all, guys. Great to see everybody today. Great to see everybody. Let me start right here. Whenever we go to Smidical. Smidical says this, guys, kind of like fan base. I hated Tomlin as a coach after he lost to Green Bay Super Bowl. I was still in, but we had a great year that Ben got killed in Walking Dead. And that night we lost to the Saints and I quit Tomlin. Lindsay, what's up? Always great seeing Lindsay on the terrible board. Hope everything is well for you, Lindsay. And Tyrone follows that up by saying, speak of the devil, there is Lindsay on the terrible board. Tyrone ended up going on to say that he did a thing because she's been MIA. I don't know what that thing is, but I'm kind of curious. Yinzer Joe says Pittsburgh authorities have some kind of system in place to help people get in and out of the city during the draft. It's going to be tough either way going in or out. You are not kidding. It's going to be a disaster. Again, when there's 60,000 people trying to make their way down to Acroshore, it could get brutal. Guys, they're expecting 500,000, a little over 500,000 is what they're expecting to be down on the North Shore, guys. It is going to be brutal. No two ways about it. Smidical says this. Smidical says that happened like the fans. Some appreciated Tomlin. Others, like me, believe that another coach would have done better with a Super Bowl winning team and a historic, athletic, talented team of monsters. RB says, I'd like to take a look at Carolina's safety, Brian Cook, in free agency. Shouldn't cost too much money and have a nice fit to play with Elliott. So this is where we're going to bleed over into some free agency talk, Mike. Now, we do have, right now, we have four of the top 100 free agents in the NFL on this list, Mike, of the top 100 free agents in the league, or on the team, or in the league. Yes, we have four of them. They are Asante Samuel. They are Kyle Duggar. They are Isaac Seumalo, and they are Aaron Rodgers. Mike, any of these four, and again, we talked about Aaron Rodgers, so let's put him aside. Any of these three going to be back in Pittsburgh this year. They are four of the top 100 free agents in the NFL. Again, Asante Samuel, Kyle Duggar, and Isaac Seumalo. Mike, which one of these guys are wearing the black and gold next year? Or two or three?
I'm hoping Asante Samuel.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, and I think they can bring him back on a nice little contract that's not going to break the bank. I liked what I saw from him last year. I know the old coaching staff did. Hopefully, the front office that's still there likes him too, to bring him back, because I think he can be a good piece to this team. He's the only one I'd bring back.
And I could see us, be like, we could pass on him, but I could see Asante Samuel going somewhere else and having a fantastic season and a fantastic career. So I agree with you. I think Asante Samuel is certainly one that you want to keep your maybe keep your paws on if you can. Mike, anybody else on this team that sticks out to you free agent wise that we absolutely necessarily have to keep? If you want to pull up your list of free agents real quick so you can do that, Mike. But again, four Pittsburgh Steelers are on the top 100 free agent lists this offseason. Again, they are Samuel, they are Duggar, they are Seumalo, and they are Aaron Rodgers. Mike's going to skim down through. Tell me, Mike, who do you think is a for sure shoe-in this year for the Steelers from the free agency list, and who is for sure on the way out?
Oh, I would like to have Kenny Gainwell come back. I just like the way what he did. You can use him in the run game. You can use him in the pass game. I just have a feeling that like a team will offer him a bit too much, and we can't match it. I'd love to have him back. Same like I said, Asante Samuel. I wouldn't even mind James Pierre coming back for another year or two.
Yeah.
We signed a 2-year deal, make it more or less like a 1-year deal. Those guys I'd like to come back. I'm on the fence about our buddy, little Calvin Austin, depending on what else we do with the wide receiver room.
And if I could cut you off just for 1 second, Calvin Austin, he he realizes he might be on the chopping block, Mike. He comes out and he says, quote, "They may not want me," is what Calvin Austin says.
Yeah.
He could very well fall into the wide receiver 4 of this group, depending on how things go and how they build. But that's a good point, Mike. Calvin Austin, is he worth keeping to you, as he's also on this list?
On it all depends on like what kind of contract he would get. Like,
Yeah.
because if you add some receivers and they start slotting into where they need to be, like we were talking about with the Pirates, flushing out that roster, we flush out the receiver room. Next thing you know, guys start slotting into where they need to be. Now they're not playing out of position, out of responsibility. You can use them appropriately. Next thing you know, their value is they're 10 times more valuable. So if you can get them on a good contract, maybe max $7 million at the high end for $7 million for him. Think about it and bring him back. All depending on what else you do in the receiver room. You get another good free agent and 1 in the draft or 2 in the draft, and you bring him back, and they all slot into where they need to be. He's someone I would bring back, but I wouldn't be heartbroken if he goes elsewhere. I think maybe a change of scenery where he can be put in a receiver room and used appropriately would help him more. Go to an established receiving room. So, but he's someone like I'm on the fence with. Like, if he stays, cool, and we use him, awesome. If he leaves, hey, good luck to you.
Who else, Mike? Who else you seeing on that list that you think is vital that does come back?
Oh God. Not many. Like, you got Jabril Peppers. I
don't think he comes back.
I don't think like Kyle Duggar. I think if
Jabril Peppers was a penalty every kickoff. I mean, every time on
I
coverage.
know. A tackle or a penalty. It was
you're right.
Duggar, if Elliott and Ramsey are healthy, I wouldn't mind as a number 3 safety. But as our starter, he's one of those guys that more playing time, I think, gets to him, and the law of diminishing return takes in. I wouldn't be opposed to him coming back as a 3, but there's no one else I see on this list like, oh my God, we got to bring them back.
Right.
Like outside of like Asante and Kenny G, like everyone else, I think is replaceable. Carlos Waitman's on there, but he's restricted. I think he's coming back. Everyone else is more or less, they're all kind of like backups or just backups. You got Cole Holcomb, but I think that experiment's done. Miles Killebrew, I think he's done. He's going to be 33 years old. He's done. Ukulele, I think he's done. So I think a lot of these free agents are going to be gone, and you might see the ones that come back: Kenny G, Asante, maybe Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
Wait, we forgot about the best, Meatwad.
As Meatwad coming back, of course, Connor Hayward looks like Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Mike, Meatwad, is he a Steeler this coming season?
I don't know. Like he grew on me last year.
I know he does the little things well.
He's that little scrapper. Like you're not counting on him to do a whole lot. He doesn't cost a whole lot. He got picked up first downs. He got some touchdowns. I kind of want him to be the team mascot. I was bringing Meatwad back for one more run.
Come out with that one little tooth sticking out like Meatwad has.
Yeah. Like,
hey guys.
Well, let's see what Mike McCarthy can do with Meatwad.
Let's jump on the board here, guys. Let's see. Steeler Freak John. John says, Yinzer Joe, it is a point of view thing. Some are okay with another 10-7, and others would prefer taking a chance, something new, regardless of the outcome. I did see that speaking of Meatwad, I seen little Tater Tart did pop in, of course, the resident Browns fan, Mike, and he said that Calvin Austin wouldn't even make his team. Meanwhile, David Njoku comes out yesterday and says, I don't even want to be a part of this team anymore.
Right?
I'm not coming back. Somebody please get me the hell out of Cleveland. But welcome back, Tater Tart. Always great to see little Tater Tart on the terrible board.
Can Cleveland afford to sign anyone?
No, they have 43 quarterbacks.
You want to talk about salary cap? Hell, Jesus Christ. The Browns they're like $19.5 million over the salary cap with $39.7 million in dead cap space. And I think they are literally
Incredible.
they're paying one guy $20 million next year in dead cap space. They're paying our buddy Juan Thornhill $5 million. They're paying Joe Flacco $1.4 million.
Mike, what about this name? Talking about, like I said, a month from now, players are gonna be moving. The tampering period of the free agency going to start 1 month. Mike, what about here's a couple names that I've been hearing. Should the Steelers be in on Rashid Shaheed? Rashid Shaheed, Mike, of course, Seattle, the Super Bowl thing. Is this a name that the Steelers should be looking at? Again, things could happen. A lot of people are saying go out and get those 2 wide receivers in the draft. What if you touch on what if you handle the wide receiver situation maybe in the free agency, and then get the other part of it in the draft? Mike, if that would be the case, Rashid Shaheed, is he somebody that the Steelers should have their eye on?
No, I don't think so. Just look at. He's another one of those guys that misses time. He's only played a full season once, and that was this year.
Right.
And no, we have more needs than Rashid Shaheed. If they get him and the receiver in the first round, okay, there'd be a way to use him, but no, I'm not big on Rashid Shaheed right now. I wouldn't mind if we had a 1 and a 2 and he comes in and he can do returns, and be the speed guy and stuff like that. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: I can't imagine how excited I'm going to be once we get receivers, and I just won't be able to wait until preseason to get a look at these guys. It's just going to be like waiting for Christmas when you're a kid all over again. When we finally do get some weapons and get some more players in the draft and via free agency, it's going to drag ass until July till we can watch some preseason football. But let me jump back on the board here for a couple minutes, Mike. Tyrone says Willis had 3 good games. LOL, I'm good. Also, he says Steeler freak John says this: think about what the Seahawks would have done to Rodgers. He would be in intensive care. You ain't shitting. Could you imagine what they did to Drake May? Of course, Aaron Rodgers knows what to do a little bit. He could get the ball out. He could throw it away. Things maybe that Drake May wasn't doing as a second-year guy, opposed to what Aaron could do as a veteran walking into the Hall of Fame. But at the end of the day, it's a great point, John. Tyrone says this: what if we still try? What if we just try with A-Rod, then get our quarterback in 2027? I mean, that's a very good possibility. That could be the way that it turns out. So again, we'll know here in the next 73 days what's going to go down. And again, I know that Aaron, he could drag his feet. We said we're going to wait for him, but we do have free agency coming in 1 month. In 72 days, we have the draft. So guys, in less than 90 days, in less than 3 months, we are going to have a pretty good idea of what's going on with this team moving forward. We got new coaches in place. New players are going to be in place. Guys coming back. Guys that were together already, Mike, another year of cohesiveness maybe on the offensive line. A lot of things I'm going to be looking forward to once preseason starts in August. I'm sorry, the camp will be starting in July. But let me move down a little bit further here. Tyrone also says this. He says Arthur Smith was the problem, Mike. Follows that up by saying, I'm sorry, John says fake May finally got exposed. Fake May finally got exposed. Ty says this: West Coast and no wide receivers too. Now he's got to do better with pocket wise. Lindsay says now he's the other team's problem. You scoot down here a little bit to Ty saying this. He says, I think he's coming back, so I'm just accepting it for now. It's a very good possibility. John saying it was Tomlin's prevent offense. Tyrone says, now I'm taking one for the team. Yinzer Joe says this: we played the Seahawks and we're down by a touchdown until the kickoff went into the end zone to put the Seahawks up by 2 touchdowns. We had them on the ropes and Rodgers was competing very well at the time. Jamal says that Yinzer Joe, that's true. Now I think about it. Mark Malone says, go buy a boat. Let me see. Cody says, speak of the devil, me and Lindsay are besties. Quip life, baby. That's right. Always great seeing both you guys. Hope all is going well for Cody and Lindsay. Lindsay says this: I'm taking the draft days off. I swear to God, I'm not dealing with that traffic. If you are going down into the city, and even coming from your area of the Parkway there, I'm sure it's going to be a disaster. So good luck on that. Lindsay says this: not a quip for life though. Jamal, damn, it's going to be that, but it's going to be brutal, dude. Because as Mike was saying, getting in and out of Pittsburgh can be can be brutal at times, and that again is with they're estimating over 500,000 people will be in town that week. So, guys, it's going to be crazy. If you are coming into town, plan ahead and accordingly. Let's see. Let's scoot down a little bit here. And then I'm going to take a little leap to get further down on the board. I do apologize again. I like to get every message read, but I'm going to do what I can today, get as many as I can read, but I do read them all. So don't stop them. Keep them coming, guys. Greatly appreciated. Let's go to John. John says, Yinzer Joe, a regular season game and a Super Bowl are not the same. Teams save postseason packages. It also depends when the teams played. I believe the Seahawks would have treated the Steelers the same. Lindsay's cooking. Lindsay's cooking, apparently. Tyrone says Lindsay's cooking dinner maybe when Ty comes to town. That would be a lot of fun. Scoot down. Now I'm going to take a little jump here to get back to where we're more recent in the comments. Guys, again, I do apologize. Let me go right here on my more recent chart, which we're not that far behind. We're not as far behind as I thought we were. Let me go right here. Tater Tot says this. He says, Austin doesn't even make our practice squad. Little Tater Tot. And, of course, across the pond, not only is he the resident Browns fan in the on the terrible board, he is from the United Kingdom, which makes it even funnier. So take a moment, if you will, just to laugh at Tater Tot, as we always do here on the show. Point and laugh. It's even funner. Let me scoot up here. Mark Malone says, if A-Rod came back, though, Thielen said he would come back too. We'll need a couple white receivers that him and Sco would fit the bill. Let me move forward. John says this: if the NFL changes the active roster to 53.5, then bring Austin back. if they change it to 53.5, Mike.
I like it. That's a good one. I found one on the board. I know we scooted by it. You got up, but I got to read this one from Steve.
Yeah, please.
Derpy's back creases are sexier than Peach's box.
Derpy's back crease.
that right there is morbid, disgusting, and I love it.
I just lost the will to eat for the next week. Tortilla says that's what I'm saying. Good depth, somber. Also, Steeler Freak is saying Tater just got out of his AA meeting. Tyrone, Miles Killebrew, KGK, Calvin Austin III, Samuel, only ones I'm signing back. RB says this $7 million for Austin. I hope you meant for over 2 years. 2 years, $7 million total.
Yeah.
Meatwad
on the high end.
Steel for Life says Meatwad is back for sure. No need to worry about that though. Meatwad will probably be back, and you know what? He's probably a good person to keep around. Again, he does the grimy work. He does some of the good stuff, some of the little stuff that other people don't like to do. I've always he grew on me. He grew on me like a wad of meat. Meatwad. He grew on me, Mike. I think he'll be back as well. Let's do scoot up here. Tyrone says if we don't sign Calvin Austin III, I say sign and draft 2 wide receivers. Also, Somber says put it this way: if Shaheed is worth the extra $6 million, he'll cost over CA3. Let's go to. Let me scoot down a little bit. I'm going to go right here. Somber says, no, Shaheed will be too expensive for what he provides. Somber is not liking the Shaheed Rashid idea. Steeler Freak John says this from out in Las Vegas. The draft is a lottery. Tyler Shuck would easily go top 3 now. All the teams didn't see it or he didn't show it. Mike, what about Spencer Rattler? There's a name that I know that's going to be on the move. Don't you want to build your team around a guy that kind of looks like Patrick Mahomes in a weird kind of albino way?
No. God, no. God, no.
Let's move on. Mark Malone, if you have a boat, just put it somewhere up or down the river and dock it somewhere. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I know there's going to be a lot of ferries floating across from Station Square over to the North Shore. It's going to be packed, guys. Again, if you are coming, be prepared. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a madhouse down on the North Shore. Let's see. Vegas says, have you guys ever gone to the Steelers store that's owned by DK Pittsburgh? Yeah, I have not. I have not been to his store. I have not. Somber says Lindsay is housing, feeding, and clothing all of us. We fly out for the draft. This is going to be great. We're all going to jam pack into Lindsay's house. And,
Sweet. I don't have to make room in my studio.
well, we're still packing people in your studio like sardines, but for the most part, all of the rest of us will be at Lindsay's house for the duration. Let's see. Lindsay says, yeah, that's not happening, Somber. Derpy's back room. Derpy's back room could be a place that everybody could stay.
I don't think anyone wants to go in there. I think it smells.
Nah, you don't want none of that back room. Tyrone says, I lost my appetite with Taco Bell with that. Just, so did I, bro. This guy in his Taco Bell Somber says, Tortilla says, good Taco Bell gives you back creases. Let's see what else here. I'm going to grab a couple more, Mike, and we do have a few things as we're rounding third on the show. Somber said this. I asked the group chat this yesterday. Where do you think y'all rank with Will Howard in this year's quarterback class? Number 2, number 3, Mike, what do you think?
God, maybe I think him and Ty Simpson will probably be battling out for 2 and 3.
All right.
Like, this isn't a good draft class at all.
Vegas says, hell, I remember when $5 would feed you and your friend a taco. I do too.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Now you can't get a taco for that. It's insane what's going on. It truly is insane. Ty says yes. Party at Lindsay's house. We're looking forward to it. The big draft party at Lindsay's house, guys, coming up in just 72 days. Everybody is looking forward to that, of course. Mike, we did talk about Deebol briefly a little bit ago. I want to just talk about real quick. I seen this come up, and I thought it was pretty funny. Just give me a moment. I'm going to pull this up. This is a conversation between Dick LeBeau and Bill Cowher. If you remember this,
I remember this.
You remember this. This is something that I seen that I just wanted to talk about because I thought it was funny. This was a conversation between Bill Cowher and Dick LeBeau regarding pulling James Harrison out of the game. This was how it went, guys. Dick LeBeau says, Coach, he won't come out. Coach Cowher says, make him come out. Dick LeBeau says, you make him come out. Coach Cowher says, no, I'm not making him come out. And nobody made him come out. He stayed in the game. I just thought that was funny. I'm like, that's how much of a bad dude that James Harrison was in his day. I'm like, nobody even wanted to attempt to try to pull his ass out of the game when he said he wasn't coming out.
No, but little did they know. They were safe. They were not a woman. He would not lay a hand on them. Always got to get that in there.
Always got to get that in there. Mike, also with these things here, I got a couple more things we're going to get into. Briefly, the 3 and outs, the field goals, the field position battles. Mike, the Super Bowl looked a lot like a Steeler game. Yes, we brought this up on Monday, but is the Steelers a little closer to being a team that could play in these big games because of what they're used to doing? Again, Mike, they don't win many football games that aren't full of 3 and outs, full of field goals, or full of field position battles throughout the course of the game. So just the overall mindset of the Steelers, I think, would prepare a team like the Steelers to play in the game that we've seen on Sunday night. I don't think that we're ready. I don't think that the scheme is there. I think that we're still could use a few players, obviously, to make this team better. But is the way the Steelers play, and again, the way that they've gotten most of their wins, Mike, has been through these close kind of football games, just a boring kind of game, as people said the Super Bowl was. 3 and outs, a lot of field goals, field position battles. If we get better people in place, Mike, if we get some nice players in, if we can scheme with our new coaches, is this team kind of on track to play in one of these kind of games? Again, we've played both of these teams, 1-1. We beat we beat New England 21-14. We lost to Seattle 31-17. Mike, how far are we away, realistically, from being able to compete in that game that we've seen on Sunday?
It doesn't look like that far away. There's New England run, Drake May had 8 fumbles along the way in the postseason. Sloppy play. Was New England's, all their wins were close. They were ugly wins. The other team just imploding, the way we've imploded in the playoffs. So I have a feeling Pittsburgh's really not that far off. And watching this Super Bowl, I think we would have given Seattle a run for the money because it was an ugly, close game. As long as the rest of the AFC plays down the way they did in the playoffs, Pittsburgh has a chance. That's the way the roster's structured now. But, I want to see what we look like with the new offense and the new defense. Using the players in a different scheme and a different format, you might get better results, and we might be closer than we think.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like we have the right ingredients. Now, is a new chef going to be able to make something better?
Right. We gotta the chef could cook it up is what we need.
Yeah.
We need the chef to come in here.
Can we go from a 3-star or 2-star Michelin restaurant to a 3-star Michelin restaurant?
Yes.
It's just all it's all a wait and see game at this point because we don't know what kind of defense the defensive coordinator is going to run because he has his philosophy of I'm going to take a look who I have and then I'm going to build my defense around the players that I have. I'm going to build on from my experiences from New England, from Miami, from Las Vegas, and make a defense to make it work for them. So you never know, man. We might see players that we're like, oh man, they're not that good. All of a sudden, start playing lights out because they got a new system and it's playing to their strengths, and they're not being square peg in a round hole.
And that new coach energy, Mike. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't. But again, our Pirates, our Penguins are experiencing it, and things seem to be moving in the right direction. I'm going to stick around on this board for a couple more, Mike. I do want to stay caught up here. Let's go with and one other name real quick. I know that certainly is probably making Tyrone jump around in his seat is Joey Porter Jr. Mike, I know that he's going to be talking extension. It's a no-brainer with Joey Porter Jr., right?
I would assume so. Yeah.
I wouldn't think otherwise. Yeah. I mean,
I think that's going to be one of their number one priorities is getting that contract done, and it wouldn't surprise me to get a Nick Herbig contract done.
I agree.
Get those two locked up and then go from there because out of those two draft classes, they've been the best out of those two. Get those two locked up and two guys in this new defense, man.
Yeah.
Like we've seen Porter get better year after year. If he can take a quantum leap, it's going to be awesome getting locked in early. Same thing with Herbig. We've seen him get better and better every year. Add a little add to his. He has got tongue tied there. Thinking of too many thoughts. He's added to his pass rush repertoire every year. He's improved the little things at the linebacker position every year, and get him locked in because it feels like he's on the verge of making a huge jump this year as well. Get both those guys locked in before training camp. That'd be awesome. Or get them both locked in and go. Just go with those two, man.
RB says Nussmeier greater than Ty Simpson. Mike Nussmeier greater than Ty Simpson, better than Ty Simpson. Let me scoot up here. Vegas says I'll never understand how people eat so much that they grow stomachs on their knees and arms to go along with the one that's hanging below their waist.
Because the food tastes so good.
Mike can answer. Somber says I ordered the keg. There you go. He got the keg ordered. You better pull out the couch beds, Lindsay. We're on our way. And I know these guys, they'll be there early, like a week and a half early. So be prepared. TC says, what about what Joey Porter said? And we got into that a little bit, TC. He was talking, he gave his opinion on how things were. He certainly used the terms when he's talking about Ben. He said, what did he say about Ben? He said he's not a good person. He said he wasn't a good teammate, and he has no right talking about Steelers business on his podcast. And again, we did kind of touch on that. And again, Joey has always got something to say. He never not had something to say. Again, I don't know Ben personally, but it's interesting. Certainly ruffled a lot of feathers around the Berg this morning, as a lot of people are definitely talking about this going on. Tortilla says I had Howard higher than most last year, so I probably would rank him with Mendoza and Simpson, but the league would probably group him with Beck and Nuss. John Steeler Freak says this Witherspoon blitzing the right side caused the Pats to reinforce that side, and the left side of the line got exposed with no reinforcement. That was new, and the Hawks saved that for May in the Super Bowl. It was brilliant because again they had zero answer for it, Mike. Zero. And you're calling it. We're watching the show. He's like, they're gonna run that blitz right here again. They've been running all game. They ran the blitz, got the sack. It was like a thing of beauty if you're Seattle. But again, Mike, there was nothing that New England was able to do to stop what Seattle had planned.
As a fan of defensive football, my nipples were hard that game. What Seattle was doing and just loading, like they said, loading up the right side, putting Wilt or their left tackle on an island and just bull rushing him because they knew like his footwork is sloppy. It's not consistent. And they just ran his ass ragged. It was so much fun to watch.
RB says ordering booze. Why? I make booze. I have 15 gallons of various types of liquor sitting in my shed. It looks like
That
RB.
explains a lot, RB.
It looks like RB is now coming to the Lindsay party, the get together at Lindsay's for the draft. TC says James and Deebol were two different people. They sure were. They sure were two different people. Tortilla says not like the league is right all the time. Tyrone says I'm ready. I'm ready. See JPJ contract. Yeah, I don't see JPJ going anywhere. I think he's a Steeler. I think he's going to be a Steeler through and through. His dad was here. He grew up in North Allegheny, went to Penn State. I just don't see this guy leaving the area. And again, if he keeps improving, Mike, I think JPJ will be somebody that they continue to pay throughout his career. Again, JP's son, I don't see going anywhere anytime soon.
Neither do I. I hope they're able to lock him up long term, a nice little 4 to 5 year extension, and just let him run wild. And hopefully they can get Asante, and Asante can play here for another 2 to 3 years. And you got your cornerbacks figured out, but don't skimp out on any in the draft. Get one.
Yeah, you're right. RB says JPJ needs paid, but he's saying, but not top 5 money just yet. He says top 10, 15 money is fine. But you know what? For hitting his first contract, I think he's at a good point. He's going to improve. And again, once he gets into the Pro Bowl, I think he's just going to be a name that's going to be automatically assumed once you get to that point. Give it a little bit of time. I think JPJ is going to be the guy. Let's go here to Ty. Ty says JPJ gets top 3 money. Watch RB says Vegas in my backyard in the Appalachian Mountains, not in the woods, but yes, as he is making his alcohol. Let me scoot up here. Tater throwing up the what is that called? The something Jack. What's the British flag called?
But the Union Jack?
The Union Jack. There it is, everybody. Tater, the Union Jack on the terrible board. Let me scoot up here. Mark Malone, I'm telling you, the D is going to be worth what we're paying for them for the first time in forever. And you know what? I hope you're right, because, again, I thought they were going to be better last year. You bring in, you get yourself some Jalen Ramsey. They traded out. They moved 11 different starters from the previous team's 22 last year. I mean, that's between offense and defense. So there was a lot of things that happened last season. You bring in all these DBs. You had Juan Thornhill. You bring in J Ram. You give TJ some money. Cam. I really thought the defense was going to be a lot better than it was. But again, giving up 250 yards to Buffalo at home certainly told me otherwise. Not being able to shut down Jamar Chase against Cincinnati the first time, Mike, we basically used every DB, we used every safety, we used every cornerback, we used every linebacker, every resource we had, and that guy ran wild on us with Joe Flacco under center. So there was certainly some areas that were left that still certainly needed improvement, Mike. But from what a lot of people thought going into the season last year, this was going to be a pretty damn good defense. It ended up being pretty average at best. So again, Mike, whatever it is they have to do this season, whether it be scheme wise, whether it be personnel wise, whatever the case is, the defense, it certainly has room for improvement.
It does have room for improvement. And I think the guys on the roster, a lot of them can be a part of the solution.
I do too.
Yeah, it's just, different scheme. Let's get them in different positions and then find out. And I don't think this team's going to have to break the bank in free agency and adding reinforcements.
I don't either.
Right? I think we got. I'm leaning towards bringing Cam back for one more year, just on the contract that he has, that $19 million. If they want to sprinkle some incentives in there to bring it up to 22, 23, whatever, put him, Y.A. Black, Derek Harmon, Benton in a new role. Maybe get someone in the 3rd, 4th round to reinforce another young guy that can come along the way Y.A. Black did as a 4th round pick. Nice little solution there. Hit a linebacker in free agency in the draft. There's a lot of potential on that defense for it to be good. Do I think it would be all of a sudden turn around and be Seattle good? No, but I think we have the potential to actually have a legit top 10 defense. Easy. On paper. Now, unless is TJ Watt going to be willing to move around, because we all know where he's going to be. Right. That's going to be a big piece of the puzzle, right?
And you know what, Mike? We kind of had this conversation. We had this debate. And the thing about Micah Parsons, the guy, you don't know where he's going to be, on top of him being an amazing player. Myles Garrett, you don't know where he's going to be on top of being an amazing player. And that just kind of puts these two guys into a whole different bracket for me because, yes, TJ certainly has potential to be an amazing player. But, we talked about it endlessly about how he always specifically lines up in one spot. It might be 3 yards further out than he normally is, but you know where he's going to be. In my opinion, Mike, these are professional football teams. You know how to make adjustments. You know how to you see the writing on the wall. With these other guys, I always feel so much they can be so much more productive because they're constantly moving. You have to track them down. Then you have to adjust your blocking scheme. TJ Watt, it's become very, very routine, if you will. Predictable, and I think that could partly be a part of what the issue is, Mike. Again, 7 sacks for what you're paying this guy certainly isn't worth it, in my opinion. Mike, is there any way under the new coaching staff they change this, or is this something that TJ Watt prefers so much that this is just going to be the way that it is with TJ on this team?
I'm hoping it's not going to be this is what TJ wants to do, and he'll listen to the new coaching staff and move around if they want him to do. And what he needs to realize, as the older he gets and he's losing that explosiveness, he's going to have to do what's better for the team and stop chasing stats. Like, you can see he has a head for football. He knows when he drops into coverage, he can play that zone pretty well. It sucks we're going to be paying someone like $42 million a year to not rack up a shit ton of sacks and be a frontline disruption, but do what's best for the team. Move around the defense, drop in the coverage, play middle linebacker, drop in there in those zones, and we've seen him pick passes off. We've seen him make plays in the pass game as a defender or pass defender. Be more willing to do that as your pass rushing.
Do you think it's on him, or do you think that was coaching?
I think it was both.
Okay.
I think it was both.
Oh, fair enough. You're probably right. Again, at the end of the day, they need to figure that out, Mike, because he could become 50% more productive, I think, by just having him line up in different spots throughout the game. And I'm not even saying do anything crazy with it, just more than what it is that they do. Again, you know where he's at. You're able to chip. You're able to double. Whatever you want to do against him, it's no surprise. There's no changes. There's no leaving anything else open while you make those adjustments because you know 100% where TJ Watt's coming from every single snap.
Yeah, and just like he has that mindset. You can see it in interviews and stuff. Like, he wants to have all these records and be, the guy who's known for the sacks, the best pass rusher of this era. At a certain point, you got to put your pride and your ego aside and do what's best for the team, and realize, like, I'm not that guy anymore. But how can I help the team the most? And that might be doing stuff that you're good at, but not what you want to do. I just have visions of him and Herbig lining up in the middle while you have Sawyer and Highsmith on the outside and doing weird blitzes and weird coverages that they can do that we see some of these other defenses do.
And Mike, you do have that piece of a Nick Herbig to where you could make something like this possible. Because if you do move TJ in a team, they do adjust the scheme. Now you have another guy that could really be shot out of a cannon like Nick Herbig coming from different areas while you're worrying about TJ Watt. And I got to be honest with you, as long as Alex Highsmith could stay healthy, he's looking pretty effective as of late too, like the past season or two, as long as he's healthy. But if he's healthy, and you start to make TJ a little bit more mobile, you have two pretty nice weapons, Mike, to come from different parts of the field, and I think could be very effective if ran correctly.
And the stay healthy part applies to our top 3 outside.
I know.
And that's it's the reality of the situation, and that's what kind of sucks. They all missed time due to injury, and I think that was a part of it too. Like, we've never really had them all healthy and playing at a high level at one stretch to do weird things, because they started doing that 2 years ago. They did a little last year, but a guy would get hurt or the defense would be simplified and they go back to the base thing to try and figure stuff out and never go away from it. So, like, if they can all stay healthy, that's going to be the key thing. If they can all play all 17 games together with the development of Jack Sawyer, That's you can wreak
I
some
agree.
havoc with those four because we
I
saw
agree.
it as the season went on. Sawyer is getting more and more effective.
Mike, I would love to see them be more creative with their linebackers. If these new coaches could come in and be more creative and create
Yeah.
more, hidden looks and just different things, it could be a lot of
Right.
fun. It just, as I said, top to bottom, as far as the team goes, it seemed very stale for quite a few
Yeah.
years. So I'm very hopeful that this new group of gentlemen that are coming in can really come up with some
Yeah.
creative and innovative ideas and ways to use these players and put them in the position to make big plays. Because if they can, I think we're sitting head and shoulders better than we were before, Mike. I want to see some innovation. I want to see some change. Again, what Patrick Graham is going to be able to bring. They were telling me yesterday he's a defensive savant is the word that they're using. So I'm excited to see what this defense becomes, what it does, what they're able to do with the players they have, what they're able to bring in. Very exciting, Mike. Again, this is one of the bigger off seasons, certainly in my life, when it comes to Pittsburgh Steelers with everything that's going on, like the changing of the guards with the coaching, the draft coming here in Pittsburgh. There's a lot, Mike, potential for some big change to go on, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I cannot wait to watch at least August camp ball, to watch them play some preseason games, Mike, to see what it is we have. Again, I'm still waiting to see Will Howard, like most people are. Obviously, we haven't got a chance to look at him yet, and a lot of other pieces. Caleb Johnson, is he going to be able to come along and become a viable piece for this team? So it's going to be very interesting, Mike. Again, I think that this offseason goes by pretty quick because, again, here we are. We're coming up on the combine here in just, what was it, another 9 days or whatever somebody had on the board. Mike, that's the combine already. Once that's over, that means we're just a week and a half away from
Yeah.
free agency. And once
Right.
you're at free agency, you know that you're just a little
You're
over a
right
month
around
away
the
from the
corner.
draft.
Yeah.
So it's going to go fast, guys. So much going on, so much to keep on top of this year in this offseason. Let's jump back on the board, Mike, because again, I want to grab some more messages before we do start getting ready to wrap the show up for today. I've seen one real funny one right here that I do want to read. Tortilla says this about Tater. Of course, Tater Tard, our resident Browns fan from the United Kingdom. Tortilla says Tater probably brings tea to a gunfight. I don't know. I thought that was entertaining, bringing tea to a gunfight. Of course, the Brits and then Tater's going to come back and say, "Well, I'm not from Britain. I don't know where he's from, but he says he's from the United Kingdom somewhere. Whatever that means, we don't know what that means in America." But all right. Tyrone says JPJ barely guarded Chase first time, but you're right. You're right. He didn't. They were using J Ram. They were trying to pretty much everything they could. But you're right. They weren't using JPJ. You're 100% right. Tater from Dinosaur Land. Also, Ty says this: if JPJ ain't following every team's best wide receiver, I'm going to lose my shit at least 75% of the time. Steeler Freak says Tater brings golf clubs to a gunfight. Vegas says Tater is a potato farmer in Ireland. Could be. He could be. Let's see. Tyrone said you lost your DC and tight end. They lost all kind of stuff. And you know what? They lost the will to live, I think. Cleveland, the way that everyone just wants the hell out of that town, out of that city, out of that team. I couldn't blame them. Mark Malone says, "Oh, I can assure you he'll be lining up other places now." Let's scoot up here to Vegas. He says, "When was the last time, if ever, there was an earthquake?" We have they're red, like our seismic meters or whatever the hell they are. There's little quakes, but as far as a big earthquake, I'd certainly say I don't know, maybe not ever. I'm not sure, but there's certainly things that are being picked up on. Whatever the hell they've used to pick things up on. Let's move up right here to Tortilla. We started America to get away from Tater.
Just Tater.
Just Tater. Tater's going to be at Derpy's party at the draft. We're all going to be at Lindsay's house. Tater will be at Derpy's house. That's how that's going to play back. Ty's saying TJ Watt will bounce back. Lindsay said TJ will be fine. Let's see. Tater says this. Yeah, well, according to your halftime show, who's maybe took Spanish up instead of our language. Tater, he's as sharp as a wit, that guy. Let me tell you. Nobody has a comeback quite like Tater. Mark Malone says that's the thing. Herbig Highsmith might only be able to start 17 games between the two of them. Watt doesn't miss many games, really. I mean, he has weird situations, like, dry needle injuries, and TJ Watt's just kind of TJ Watt.
TJ Watt misses time.
He misses time. Mark Malone, that's the other thing between Watt, Highsmith, Sawyer, and Herbig. Only Herbig is an actual linebacker. The other guys are defensive ends. Steeler Freak says this: defensive players who can move around and be effective is key. I don't see TJ refusing to move around. I certainly hope not. And again, I certainly hope with defensive coordinator Graham, they could figure some things out and make this a more confusing. You want again, very vanilla, this defense. Overall, the team, like offense, defense, everything over the past few years, I'd like to see it get a little bit more complex, if you will. Give some different looks, confuse quarterbacks. We don't do that much anymore. Again, it's brute against brute, and you know what? A lot of times you don't win the battle, and you're not putting yourself in the best position to win. I hope that Coach Graham comes in here and really makes something out of this defense. That's going to be so big for this team. Vegas says 12 days, just 12 days till the combine. Yes, sir. It's not going to be long now. Tyrone says, yeah, things are moving fast. Football and pajamas, baby, as John says. Mike, I do want to give you some interesting stats as we do start to get ready to wrap things up on the show for the day. A lot of people talk about the Ben Roethlisberger. He is going to be eligible for the Hall of Fame this year, Mike. And there, people will debate, and people that ain't from Pittsburgh will give their opinion. People from Pittsburgh will give the total opposite opinion. But let me just give you some of the numbers real quick, Mike, before we do head into the last part of the show. This, after 18 seasons with the Steelers, of course, Ben won 2 Super Bowl championships. He had he was a Pro Bowler 6 times. Mike, he's 7th all-time in passing. 7th all-time in passing. 7th all-time in passing. Think about that for a minute. The only people that are above him are the Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Guys, 7, and he hasn't played for a couple years, which allowed a couple guys to get ahead of him. Aaron Rodgers. Also, Mike, 9th all-time in passing touchdowns. 9th, that's, again, top 10 in passing touchdowns all time. Mike, he was the league leader in passing yards twice in his career. He had a combined career record of 165, 81, and 1. And again, Mike, having 4 500-yard passing games in his career, when the next highest person, Tom Brady, only had 2. Mike, there's no way in hell, Steeler fan, not Steeler fan, even Tater should be smart enough to see that this is a no-brainer. Big Ben walks into the Hall of Fame this year, Mike. And I just wanted to kind of clear that up, because people say he was not a top quarterback. Well, bullshit. He's 7th all-time in yards, 9th all-time in touchdowns. Find me one of your quarterbacks that are any better, and I guarantee there's guys that have less than this that are in the Hall of Fame. Ben walks into Canton.
Yeah, he walks in the Canton, and so much for the the narrative, all he did was hand the ball off,
right,
and relied on that defense. And oh no, you pull up the stats and you realize, oh man, motherfucker could sling it. It's
yeah,
it's not a debate that he's a Hall of Famer. It's.
And I always said, Mike, when he was on the field, I really felt that the Steelers had a chance to win. There was never a week that went by that I didn't think that we had a chance to win a football game, and it was all courtesy of our franchise quarterback. It truly was, Mike, and you know what? He won a lot of those games. So.
Yeah, and he's that type of player that other teams had to game plan for at the quarterback position. And there are a lot of quarterbacks in the league that you really don't have to oh God, he can do this, he can do that. You don't have to worry about him. Oh, we take away this receiver, they're screwed. Okay, you do that to Ben. I'm going to take away times where, he'll beat you with Heath Miller. He'll beat you by moving or scrambling around the pocket and finding someone else to beat you with. You literally had to game plan around him.
Now with all the weirdos,
that's the true sign of a Hall of Fame quarterback is he has so many strengths. We have to find a way to try and minimize all of them or take away half of the strengths that he can do on the offense.
And being such a weird world anymore, why don't we just clone him? Let's just clone Ben and make a whole other Big Ben and start over and let him come in as a rookie with the skills he had when he wrapped it up. That would be nice. In the time of cloning, absolutely. Mike, let me wrap these last couple of messages. John Steeler Freak says this, as soon as Tater lands in America, Lindsay will activate the restraining order, and I don't blame her. I can't say I blame her one bit. Vegas says this, I think they will punish Ben for the 2 off-field issues that he was never even charged for, of course, with the ladies down in Georgia. And then also, there was also a motorcycle crash, I think, was early on. I think those things, and the thing also, people outside of Pittsburgh, they remember that. And obviously we don't. We've seen so much great stuff happen between then and now, but maybe not. I don't know. I hope not. Again, I think he walks into Canton. But Mike, why don't you walk into the website and tell everybody about that?
The 2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got the Dumb Thoughts over there, the merch store over there, links to all of our social media, the 2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool stuff over on the website, www.d2dumyinzers.com. That's www.d2dumyinzers.com. As Mike said, he has his dumb thoughts. There are links to every single one of the 909 shows of the 2 Dum Yinzers, also the contact information. And if you think that the Fist logo is sharp, go check out the merchandise store. A lot of cool stuff over there with the Fist logo on it. Let me grab a couple more here. Vegas says this: the Lake Tahoe lady is nuts as fuck. And then also Tortilla, I'm sorry, says China tried to clone Big Ben. That's how they accidentally made Vanilla Thunder. There you go. Let's get to the Mike. It's time to get into the question of the day, the trivia of the day. Put on your thinking caps, everybody on the board. We talked a little bit about James Harrison today, or Deebo, whichever of the two personalities you would like. Mike, this is a Deebo trivia question. Guys, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Question of the day. I think it's pretty simple, actually, Mike. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I went, I grabbed it because I knew it was going to be some Deebo in conversation. So here we go. Don't look it up. Throw your guesses up on the board. If you know it, throw it up as well, guys. Here we go. Question of the day. How many Super Bowls did James Harrison win? How many Super Bowls did James Harrison win? Seems easy. You think about it, though. It's like, oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, what about... Question of the day. How many Super Bowls did James Harrison win, guys? Think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube.
On tube.
Seen some different answers on the board already. Mike Tommy Strings is saying 2. Tyrone is saying 1. 3. Somber, he's saying 2. Tony, I do want to say welcome to Tony. Glad to have you on the board. Great to see you, sir. Tony is saying 2. Question of the day, Mike. Don't throw any answers out. Steeler Freak, very close. Of course, he gets 69. Mike, what is the thought process on this for you? Again, Deebo, how many Super Bowls? He moved around there a little at the end. He was on this team. Was he on that team? Vegas says, well, it's clearly not 45. Mike, what's the thought process on this trivia question of the day? Of course, again, how many Super Bowls did James Harrison win in his career?
Well, he was the starter in the Super Bowl against the Cardinals, the greatest play of all time. So there's one. He was, I believe, a backup on the one that we won, 2-3 years previous against Seattle, Super Bowl XL for the big guys.
Go ahead.
And I know he went to New England. I don't know if he won a Super Bowl there as a backup. And usually when I get iffy, I take the under. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to go with 3.
3 Super Bowls. Is that your final answer? Take a moment. Don't lock in unless you're sure.
No.
Okay.
Fuck it. I'm taking 2. I don't think he won one. I don't think he won one anyway.
All right.
Fuck it. I'm taking 3. All
right. Stop yelling at me. 3's your final answer. All right.
Talk me into it.
Fair enough. I'm locking you in on 3. Locking it in? Final answer?
Lock it in.
All right, I'm locking you in. On the board, this is what I'm seeing. Since you started to rationalize, Mike, I've seen Vegas says, well, it's clearly not 45. Tortilla says, I was torn between 45 and 3. Tyrone says, wait, I forgot about the Patriots days. There you go. Vegas says this, 2. I think he was a backup in Super Bowl 40. Tyrone is saying 2. Guys, again, the question of the day, throw your guesses up there. If you think you know it, don't look it up. Let's just see what we can do. Guys, again, how many Super Bowls did James Harrison win when he spent time in the NFL, guys? Again, it's a little trickier than initially thought. It sounds very simple, but then you start to think, oh, wait, give it another minute or so. Do throw your guesses up on the terrible board. We'll take a look. See, we'll see who can get it. We'll see if anybody even got it so far, and we'll check that out here in just a moment. Guys, again, we got vacation. Our vacation is coming up next week. We take one in this winter, one in the summer, both for a week. So we will be here the rest of the week. Like 9/11, show 9/11 will be the show that we're stuck on as we go on our break next week. And then we come back the following Monday. Mike, 9/11. I don't like that. I don't know. I'm just saying, with all the craziness in the world, what's the chances?
You're the one who chose it.
What's the chances we'll be on 9/11 when we step away for a few days? That's all I'm saying. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know if it even means anything. But let's get back to this question of the day, guys. Question of the day. Tyrone says, Mike, that pick six won us the game. The question of the day is this: how many Super Bowls did James Harrison win? I do see the correct answer on the board. It is, in fact, up there. Somebody did get the correct answer, Mike, on this question of the day. How many Super Bowls did James Harrison win? And the correct answer, of course, is 2 Super Bowls, both with the Steelers. When he went to New England, they lost 41-33 to the Philadelphia Eagles. And he did not get his ring in New England. Of course, he did win Super Bowl 40 as a backup, and, of course, the big plays in Super Bowl 43 that we all remember against the Cardinals. James Harrison did win 2 Super Bowl rings in his career, guys. Great job. Great job. They hit the second Yinzer tortillas saying, and Tyrone says, for real, should have got the MVP, not going to lie, of that second Super Bowl win, of course, with Arizona. It really could have went, it could have went 3 different ways. That could have went to Ben, that could have went to number 10, and that could have also went to Harrison. I think 3 people could have certainly won the MVP in that particular game. Unfortunately, Deebol was on the defense, and the other 2 guys were offensive, so that kind of made that kind of put him behind the 8 ball, I do think, guys. But great job. The answer was 2. James Harrison, silverback, Deebol, if you will, 2-time Super Bowl winner. Loved him in the Berg. Ain't gonna lie about that, guys. A few things before we do start getting ready to wrap things up as we continue on our off season. Hey, who needs football to enjoy some Duquesne Pilsner? Mike, Duquesne Pilsner made right here in Pittsburgh. The guys go out of their way to include us in all their promotions and everything that they do. We want to give special thanks and a shout out to the guys over at Duquesne Pilsner as we do have, Mike, always we have Duquesne Pilsner on tap here at the studio for games and every special occasion. But if you get a chance, if you don't drink, stop over, check out any of their social media, hit the like, hit the follow. But if you do, stop at Giant Eagle now, having 12 packs and 6 packs, or at any of your local beer distributors. Grab yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner, Mike, made right here in Pittsburgh. And it says on the can, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Also, guys, speaking of social media, check us out. We are everywhere. You can check us out on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, AI, Google, anywhere you look, the 2 Dum Yinzers are there. Go swing by, hit the like, hit the follow, keep up with what the 2 Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet, do hit the like button down below. If you haven't yet, hit the sub, hit the share or comments as well. They all help in the algorithm, and it's all greatly appreciated. We thank you so much, guys. Mike, as we do start to wrap up today's show, a lot of information. We had the Joey Porter, what he had to say this morning. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about free agency. We talked about some quarterbacks. A lot going on still in this offseason, Mike, and I don't think it's going to slow down. Even if it does slow down, I think it picks right back up again. So much stuff going on, and we are here the whole for all of it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again, but this ride don't stop. We do take the 2 breaks during the years, but this is a 365-day a year ride, guys, with and for our Steelers and for the people, voices, fans of Steeler Nation. This is all year round. We thank everybody so much for coming out, hanging out with us. We truly do appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You know where you stand. You are the lifeblood of this show, guys. I always say it and I always mean it. And everybody at home, if you're watching, if you're listening, maybe you're in your car, at the gym, at the workplace, thank you too, guys. You all rock our world, baby. We hope we can do the same thing back for you. Again, we will be back tomorrow at our regular time. We will wrap this week up Thursday and Friday. We're in the rest of the week. And then again, we will be taking that quick break and be back shortly. A little time to reload after the season. It was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you, Tyrone. He's saying like and subscribe, everybody. But a little time to reload for us to come back, Mike, and take on this offseason as a lot of things are coming down the pike. I do want to say this. Mike is going to put up the email address on the terrible board. If you have any interest in, we are going to be growing this year. We're adding pieces and parts. If you're interested in being part of the show, maybe in the sense of segments, a lot of different things going on. So we are going to be bringing people on. Do hit us up in the email address that Mike just put up on the terrible board, guys. With your inquiries, we will get back to you with the information. Also, that Mike, what else? What else do we got? If you're looking to advertise any sponsorships, we're going to be looking into that as well. If you own a business, even for a show, maybe you're doing as well. And if you do have a show, or you're starting a show, or you're thinking about starting a show, we're also going to be on Saturdays at some point, Mike, getting a bunch of shows of people that want want to come in and do it for free, we're going to just put it on for exposure, maybe do some networking, things like that. A lot of stuff going on this year for the two Dum Yinzers as we continue to grow, getting that 5-year mark this coming July and hitting the 1,000 show mark also right around that time. We've got a lot of big things, guys, so we hope that you stick around with us for all of it. Again, we're here every day. Loving the black and gold, baby, getting ready for next season. Hopefully the Steelers could be playing that game in February for Super Bowl 61. That would be great. So guys, Mike, anything else before we do get ready to wrap it up for today?
Great shows always. Like Ryan said, we are here all day, every day, talking Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, mainly Steelers. It's gonna be a long, fun off season. And shout out, she doesn't know she's my wife, but she is my wife. It is her birthday. Fellas, go wish
Cardi B, Mike's new wife.
No,
yeah.
Say, go wish Natalie Dormer a happy birthday. Tater, if you're over there in England and you see her, let her know that her husband, Vanilla Thunder, said happy birthday, baby.
If you're over in New England, if you're over in England and you see her, just like when I told Tortilla, I remember when I thought the guy running on the field was him just because he's from the same area in California, basically. So there you go, Tater. If you see Mike's girlfriend, wife,
she doesn't know it, but she is. No, I'm not being a creep.
All right.
Like I'm on Twitter looking for Steeler stuff, and like hundreds of pictures of her just pop up on my screen. I'm like, oh my god, I fall in love every time I see her.
There you go.
I had to share.
Tommy Strings, he says, great as usual, guys. Hope to make more live shows when possible. See you, fam. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated, Tommy. Always great seeing you on the Terrible Board and everybody else as well, guys. Again, this thing never stops. We hope to see you back. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. Guys, stay safe. Have a great day. We love you all. I know it's warmer out, so get out, maybe enjoy yourself a little bit. Now that the cars are finally becoming unmelted, I think that's a good sign maybe for us to get out of the house, out of the studio, and do some stuff on this end. Vegas says creeps always say they are not being a creep. Let's see. Okay, you know what? You're right, John. I'll get back to you today, as a matter of fact, with just in a few minutes after we end the show. And also, guys, I do want to say this for Derpy. And Finch will be here tomorrow. So if you're joining tomorrow, Finch will be here tomorrow with us. For Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, myself, the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great hump day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.